What's up, everybody? Hope you enjoyed that. Live stream. Boondock Echo, guys. Here's mine. Next to my 1 pound POTA Pack. We'll be talking about that in a future video. We may talk about it in the live stream tonight, too. My 1 pound POTA Pack. Shove the Boondock Echo in there so I can record all the QSOs I get. That seems like a good idea. I don't know. We'll think about all that. But yeah, thanks for joining us on the after chat. Appreciate you taking the time out. So I'm Josh, KI6NAZ. We do a ham radio crash course to kind of get people started in amateur radio and answer their questions. And there's no greater personification of all of that than what we're doing right now, which is hams helping hams. Our goal here is to help you with your questions. And the best way to do that is take the link in the description, join us on Discord, become a member, join us in the hashtag live-stream chat and the hashtag live-stream after chat. That last one, that's a voice chat. So you need to set up a microphone and a speaker and set a PTT button so you can talk. The advantage of that is there's seldom a text answer I can give that really satisfies that hunger that you have with the questions that you're asking, because there's always a back and forth of question, answer, back and forth. Starts out as one simple question, but it's seldom very simple when it comes to amateur radio. And it's not because it's necessarily complicated, but it's because there's a lot of different variables that we have to account for. And that's why you join us, right? So if you do that, we'd love that. We'd love to welcome you in our community. In fact, that's what we like to do in the opening of this whole show. Normally that's what we do. But because we had guests on, our goal usually when I interview someone is to give them the floor as much as possible to answer all the questions that are coming for them. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the audio chat, and we're going to talk with the Boondock Echo folks, at least whomever has made it over so far. I have a feeling Mark will be there. Oh, how's it going? Great, man. Go ahead. Finish your thoughts. Sorry about that, bud.
Oh, Mark, I was telling you, Mark, I just sent you a link to a video where a guy did a study where he did different types of like advertising YouTube videos and some other things and how that performed over time for him.
Oh,
wonderful.
interesting.
I'll take a look. Thanks, sir.
Can you send me that link too? I'm actually kind of curious what the results were. So,
yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you. Well, we are live. We are listening to the Discord, and all you fine folks who've joined us over here, appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to do so. We have Mark. We might get KC, but we'll see. Oh, yep. No, he's here. KC, are you on comms? I see he's muted.
I'm online too, Jesse.
Oh, Jesse's here too. Wow, we got the whole crew. So everybody on wherever you're watching, Twitch, YouTube, X, Facebook, it doesn't matter. We should have all the chat rooms linked. So if you have a question in chat, go ahead and type question or at Ham Radio Crash Course, and I'll see it. I'll make sure it gets asked. But we like to give preference to the folks that are in the Discord because we can talk back to them like they're human beings, not just text people, right? So let's go straight to the Discord. Is there anyone in the Discord that has any questions, any thoughts to add to the discussion we had about the Boondock Echo? We would love to hear it and see what we can talk about. I can't tell if Frank's talking or not. Frank, are you there?
I'm not talking.
Oh, you have a green circle around your avatar, and it looks like similar to green.
It's gray.
William Hendrickson in the text chat says, "Can I use this as a Fox controller?" Do you mean a Fox like for Fox and Hunt? See, this is why you should join us, because I already have another follow-on question. Right, so now I have to sit here and wait for you to type it out for the delay and all that stuff. That's why you got to join us on the Discord. It makes things a lot faster.
To answer the question, yes. Especially if you have it hooked up to the internet, you could do that with IFTTT right now. What I am hoping is that we get more of the repeater functions programmed into the full offline mode, so that you don't even have to have the internet, that it can just keep sending out a message at a predetermined interval.
Should be worth noting, because this is an audio device, in case it wasn't explicitly said, we said that there isn't a USB connection. So you're not really going to be doing cat control or anything like that. You're still going to be expected to have to go in and tune your radio to a frequency or appropriately set up your scanner. Let's see. Anyone else? Open questions. Go for it to the Boondock crew because they're all here.
Something that I would like to add, we've talked for a long time now about controlling a radio or two radios. We can't do it with the current gen hardware. This would have to be in a future version. But even then, like most HTs, you can't remotely control. You can't change frequencies and like a Baofeng without some serious hacking.
Yeah.
So, what's that, Jess?
There's a project for the Quancheng, the latest Quancheng that lets you remote it even over the internet.
That's ridiculous.
Nice. Casey's already partying with one of those, I believe. Casey, did you want to share anything to that effect?
I don't know that we officially got his confirmation he's on audio. I know Jesse is.
Casey, you might have to enable push to talk in your audio settings to make it work.
Let me fix that for him. Go ahead, keep talking.
Sure. So we would love to. We're going to have to. We've already even kind of picked a couple target radios, but again, that's kind of in the future. So that's a low priority thing right now, right? We need new hardware to even make it work. So it's something we'd like to do, and it's something that we've got the framework on the server to handle. That if you do change frequencies, that it could change it for you, but we're not there yet. It's minimum a year out at the very, very earliest.
Got it. Casey, I think I got you free of the PTT, so you don't have to use it. Can you check with us? Oh, wait, there you go. Now you have it. Give it a second, see if you can talk now. While he sorts that out, we got a Facebook user. Unfortunately, Facebook doesn't feed us the username, so I'm not sure who you are. It doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. It's a good question regardless. So you got to be online to use it? Boy, howdy, you missed the first hour. No, you don't. There's an offline mode that we demonstrated, and it's quite effective. And not only that, but it will sync up to the internet if you then connect it at a later date. So you can take it off grid, do whatever you're doing out there in the field. It will record all that, some 32 gigs of data, which is a week of recording time basically, and then you can upload that at a later date. And reminder, everybody, this is an open source project, so you can, sky's the limit here. Go ahead, Mike. Take the question.
Is there a timestamp offline on the recording so that
Good question.
That's a great question. So in this iteration of the hardware, there is no RTC module, real-time clock module. However, you can go in and set the date time manually and it will maintain it. It just doesn't maintain it after power loss. So every power loss event, you need to go reset the date time.
Is it recorded on the header to the message as part of the message format?
Yes. So when you go to upload, it will then upload with the correct date time. So yes, it is attached to the audio file.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And it will set itself via, it sets itself via the internet. I guess it wouldn't be able to save, would it, Mark?
Well, at least you haven't got to clean the tape heads every 20 minutes and turn the tape round.
Well, curious question. So let's say I had a phone and I was going proper off-grid, so no cell phone coverage or anything like that, and I had my Boondock Echo with me. But before, or even during, I used the Wi-Fi tether capability to tether my Boondock to my phone. Would it just take the time from my phone without having to go out to the internet?
I think it goes out to a time server, so it needs internet. But if your phone has internet and it tethers to it, it'll set it.
But if I don't have cell phone connection, if I'm just off-grid and I've Wi-Fi'd my phone, okay.
But you can log into the device's webpage, the offline webpage, and you can set the date time there, right?
Yeah, I mean, manually, you can go ahead and set the time, right?
Absolutely. So it's not as fun, but there's also something we didn't demonstrate tonight, which is a CLI, command line interface, that you can connect USB UART. It should be, for somebody who knows what they're doing, possible to push the the date and time from your phone out over the CLI to the device. I don't know how to do it, but I can't imagine why that wouldn't be possible. So if we develop an app someday, we could do that.
Excellent. Excellent. Aiden, do you have something? You were keying up there for a second.
Would
Oh, my bad.
Great, man. Go ahead.
Well, I was just wondering, and I know, Mark, you said you're limited on what you can do with that microcontroller, but would an integration of a GPS module of some sort be possible, or is that just too much to handle on the chip?
Actually, that isn't all that difficult because the GPS module is doing all the heavy lifting and it's sending data out over usually it's some sort of a UART line. That's not the hard part. The hard part is on the current version of hardware is Jesse has used all the GPIOs for different things. So there's no input, no way to input that into this microcontroller without losing some bit of functionality somewhere else. Next version, we definitely will have more GPIOs where that could be a possibility. And we also know that an RTC is very important to people. We in fact had one on the previous version of the hardware, but we got slapped with some for lack of a better word, shenanigans when it came to chip modules. So we kind of had to back up one. So yeah, it's possible, not with this version hardware.
Excellent. We are getting other radio-related questions, so hang tight, Michael, Greg, if you've got the time to stick around. I can say that I'm not really familiar with windmills, and this would be one of those back and forth question and answer things where it's like, well, do you mean a windmill in your backyard? Do you mean one 100 miles away? If it's 100 miles away, then it's not a problem. So there's that. All right, let's go back. Open questions, all questions, anything, comments, thoughts, ideas of how you may even use a Boondock. We'd love to hear them. Go for it.
I'd like to bring up something that's come up recently. People don't like the micro USB on it, and it's kind of, we're stuck with the dev board. But Mark came across a company that makes filters, like really good electrical filters, and we might be making a board that goes as a front end to clean up your power source, and we could probably have USB-C in, USB micro out, and it'll clean up if you have like a dirty source, so you don't hear like audio hum and stuff. I thought that was pretty exciting.
I'm excited to design a board, Jesse. You can hear it in my voice. Just so much excitement.
Yeah.
No, it's true though. So I know I've been noticing some distortion in the audio, and I started trying to track it down. And what I discovered was that there is no clean 5-volt USB power source in my lab. I just kept trying brick after brick, and it's nasty. 300, 400, 500 millivolt peak-to-peak noise. So the idea that we had was let's just clean all that up, and we've been looking at different ways to do that. So it might be not just for Boondock, but something that can clean up for USB power for anything. So anybody using audio devices would be able to benefit from it.
Question?
Go ahead, question.
Have you tried this near HF source to see if it's the HF interferes with it?
Oh.
Great question. I've used it with my ICOM IC705 on HF, but I also do QRP. I don't have an amplifier, so the most I've ever put through that is 5 or 10 watts. It hasn't had issues yet, but based on the design of this board, I can imagine if you're running a high power station, it's going to have issues. Our next one, we're going to control the board stack, and we can definitely improve on the RFI immunity. This one, I imagine, will be susceptible at some point because it is a dev board.
I take it it's recording a WAV file of some sort, or the audio file.
That's correct.
Yeah, so if you get that near a shortwave transmission, and I don't mean ham radio, I mean 500 kilowatt, that you might want to spend a little bit of time filtering that out. Because I had a problem with a telephone system I used to work for a telephone company, and the BBC has a 500 megawatt transmitter on 200 kilohertz. And whatever we did, we could not get rid of that damn thing and had to give the customer their money back.
I can guarantee you that if you put this thing near a 500 kilowatt transmitter, it will die. It is a 4-layer board stack. Remember, we're using a dev board for most of the heavy lifting, and we don't control that board stack, and it is not a very good board stack. So when we make our own, and it is on the horizon, we're going to probably do a 6 or 8 layer, and the outer layers are going to be ground. It will be very immune to a lot of things. It's just not now.
Okay, fair enough. I just wanted to point that out because I've had trouble trying to, as the guy trying to get rid of the problem for this Chinese manufacturer who used to make telephones back in the dim and distant past.
I think a lot of your big troubles at that point is going to be conducted through the audio cable, so we'd have to get funky with that.
Oh yeah, I used to end up putting various small value capacitors and ferrite beads and all sorts of interesting ways to try and shut up the. And most of the time it worked. So we did have a few problems with radio hams interfering with these telephones. They weren't high quality, so it wasn't Panasonic. You know, those were fine. It was just these Taiwan-made telephones, and it was interesting.
Right on. Okay.
Thank you for the answer.
Yeah.
Oh, good question. No, thanks.
I do have a quick one. I had a. So if anybody's watching my Boondock going from red to blue to red to blue, my scanner's been blowing up like crazy. And so just for funsies, I pulled up what's been going on. And now for the people on Discord, you're not going to be able to hear this. If you want to turn on your YouTube and listen to it, you can. But just keep in mind you're going to get some blowback. I don't know what these are, but the transcribes, like, you know, we've got fire alarms going off, all kinds of stuff. So let's listen to this. Hold on, where'd it go? Oh, we got more.
8405 Sheffield, traffic alert.
This is the
No white 47,
dispatch.
black shirt on sidewalk, yelling at informant subfront. Informant afraid it will become physical. QC stated he'll get a sword.
So that's part of the problem with dispatch, guys. Some of them are really loud, and then some of them are really bad. So let's see if this one's a little bit better. So these are some of the clips that I get on mine, and I have it pretty much opened up to record the whole conversation. So let's see. There's another guy.
That is insanely good.
No, they canceled the paramedic squad.
That's actually useful.
Yeah, and you're seeing the transcribed audio, and some of them are just like weird blips and bloops. So that's why it's like, it's nothing. We're not going to. It's smart enough to not waste transcribe time on stuff like that, right? So we've had a lot of fire engine activity right now, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if there's something going on.
You think you guys could add two-tone decoding?
Yeah, Casey's already working on the DTMF, which is two-tone. We've got a development server and a production server, and everything starts live on the development. And once we're happy enough with its performance, we push it over to production. So yeah, definitely we could do DTMF. And then that opens up other opportunities too, right? You could use this as a repeater with mailboxes, do a store and forward mechanism to really create a kind of a mesh network, for lack of a better term. Won't be incredibly fast, but it'll be incredibly effective.
Oh, I'm talking two-tone like paging.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Oh, like the PogSag?
No, not PogSag.
Two-way.
There used to be a product called Two Tone Detect. I'm a volunteer firefighter, so we have two tones, like an 800 and a 400. Every department has a different two tones. And the old TTD Two Tone Detect was a project online that did this on a Raspberry Pi. But then I would have it, if my tone dropped, it would text my family like, "Hey, I'm going to a call." So it may not be much. That product got bought by I'm Responding, so that product kind of got rolled in. But the idea is it's just listening for two 3 second long distinct certain hertz tones, and each county kind of has their own plan for that.
There's like a brute force way of attaching a human being to a tone. Kind of interesting.
That. Should totally be doable. Casey, are you there?
Let's get KC sorted out. We want to hear his.
Yeah, I believe Motorola. There's like an image out there that tells you all the valid tones. There's like a set of them.
Mark, I'm pulling some information for you.
Oh yeah,
Thanks,
Frank
Frank.
probably knows about it. Frank will send you some stuff. Yeah.
To answer your question, we can. There's really nothing stopping us from decoding, even on device, some of these tones. And I know he's been working on DTMF. This actually sounds easier than that.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's probably 15, 20, 30 different tones they use, kind of like squelch codes, and they're typically all 2 or 3 seconds long, just long enough that you can be in the middle of nowhere with garbage signal on a Motorola pager and mine will go off if it hears just enough of my 2 tones.
Yeah, FFT function should make very quick work of that, and then you just have to figure out a way to assign the 2 tones to an action, something that would happen after that. Casey says very easy to do in the cloud. Very true. Doing it on device won't be possible, is what he's texting.
Device. Yeah. Really quick, I'm going to answer a fast one. So big thank you to Corpse Lot. Thank you so much. Renee asks, I'm looking for an entry-level ham radio for one of the family members. What's a decent ham radio for a beginner? So if we're just talking rote beginner, and Renee, I'm just giving you a straight shot across the bow kind of thing. If you go to Amazon, you search Baofeng, I want you to scroll past sponsored, bestseller, purchase, blah, blah, blah. Sponsored is the big one. But if you just go to the $18 jobber, it's $18. It's like, that's an Easter egg. You can shove that in an Easter egg if it's big enough. $18. That's literally the one. So I'll drop the link, but yeah. Hang out. We'll answer that question in more depth, but we want to make sure we're talking to our friends here at Boondock. Casey, are you okay? Like, how's everything going? Can we get you a little bit of help sorting out what's going on with your setup? I'm unsure if he's having audio problems.
He said he can't get it to work. He said he's got his PTT key bound, but I don't know what the deal is.
He should be PTT free right now. I should have freed him of that.
Also, he should probably go in the gear icon, right, and test it.
We got H-Reflex in the house. H-Reflex, if you're listening, can you make sure that Casey's sorted out?
Yeah.
Koshless is his name in the voice chat. He's already logged in.
Yeah. So go to your settings and just change it from the PTT to the voice activity one.
Oh,
that
so
way you don't have to use it.
Okay,
yeah.
so bypass.
It looks like you did.
Yeah. But he's still. Oh.
Okay.
Wait.
I
Oh, we got
switched
him.
to voice activity now.
We got it. You're good. You're in there, man.
Hey, hi everyone. I've been just listening, trying to type. I think when you switched me to voice activity, I was still on PTT, so that's why I couldn't go through.
Sorry about that. That's good. I'll put that in my memory bank to remember when I switch people to it to tell them don't PTT. So thank you. Go ahead. Do you need that too, Jesse?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Go ahead, Casey. Anything you want to mention from everything you've heard so far? Or?
Yeah, sure. I think a lot of great questions, and some of the hardware questions were taken by Jesse. And on the software side, once we have stuff on the cloud, we can do a lot of stuff. And I have several pieces of code which I have tested them, but you can imagine just to integrate, it'll take more time. We want the core service functionality to be like reliable, and then we can always play with. That brings a great point. If you have the audio, if you have anything you want to apply to it, you can use IFTT or the API which we will be launching to fetch the audio file and do whatever you want. It could be a Raspberry Pi doing some digital decoding. All that is possible.
Indeed. All right, let's keep it rolling. Anybody else have a question for the Boondock crew while we have them? Because if you don't ask them questions, they're going to bail out of here. They got family, they got things they got to do. Go for it. Okay. All right. Anything you guys want to mention, or feel free to hang out, join us. I know Mark usually hangs out for a while, so I think you're well covered if anything comes up. But thanks again. We really do appreciate you taking the time.
No, dude, we appreciate this. This has been huge. But yeah, go ahead and get on with newbie questions and stuff. And then if Boondock comes up, I'll be here. And if it doesn't, that's cool too.
Yeah, you've been very helpful in having you around the last couple of weeks just to answer these questions that come up, because we've had a couple of them. So appreciate that as always. I'm going to finish typing this, but I'll probably take this in a second. Hold on. Add your... Let me just drop that. So SUFO, or Suffocation, Suffo, is trying to join us on the Discord. So let me just go ahead and what's the best way to do this? You know what? I'll just show everybody watching for the first time if they're not familiar with Discord. Little back end.
I was going to say, do it live.
Yeah, we're gonna do it live. So don't mind my affiliate link. Go buy yourself an $18 Battlefiang. You deserve it though. I should say that. So this is Discord, right? So if you click on the little gear down here, so I'll click on that little gear, and I go to, where is it? Voice and video, which is, there it is right there. There's my little flippy circle thing. You need to set an input device, which is going to be your microphone, an output device, which is going to be your speakers, and you want yours to say push to talk. So bind a key to push to talk, okay? And then once you've done that, click on hashtag live-stream on the HRCC, so scroll down a little bit, and then click on the hashtag live-stream afterchat, and that's our voice chat. Okay, that's how you join us. Now, if you've just joined, there is a bit of a timeout. I think it's about 5 minutes, and a lot of that is because we've been bot rated in the past from unscrupulous individuals, to say the least. But yeah, so just go through that process, and you'll be good to go. So let's say a big thank you to TC Fitz. Happy Saturday. Thanks, Josh, for showing me that I needed $160 less than I needed. Yeah, so TC Fitz is in for a Boondock Echo. That's awesome because it's super, super cool. So appreciate that. Corpse Lot, I already mentioned the super chat there, but he had a question, and we'll kick things off with this. Ham Radio Crash Course. So if I buy the FT710, what is a decent power supply to pair with that radio for under $200? Less the better. Yeah, and great clarification. $200 less the better, of course, right? Thank you for putting the dollars in. So a couple ways to look at this. If you have like a VHF, UHF radio that you also want to co-locate and kind of have like a little Radio Shack, then you may need more than like a 30 amp power supply. HF is going to be 20 watts or 20 amps-ish. Yeah, Darn's already mentioned 20 amp power supply. 20 amps-ish. By the way, this is all stated on the radio website's, their manufacturer page. They're going to tell you what the full amp draw is on key down, full duty cycle. And that's what you need to spec the power supply around. If you're only going to use one power supply with one radio, then you just kind of match it, maybe give it a little headroom for that radio, and you're pretty much good to go. But if you plan on putting other radios in the chain, then you may want to start bumping those amps up based off of what radios you're doing. So with that said, what am I using? I don't have anything complicated. I've been using this for probably 5 years now. They probably have an upgraded model, but it's the MFJ 4230DMP, and I think that's changed some. Yeah,
that's one of the ones I recommended as well.
Yeah, so this is the one I've been using now for a while, and I'm actually running, what is this? How many amps is this? Oh, see, it's not even available right now. It's HRO? What's going on here? They might have upgraded it. It might be a different thing now. But I have a 7610, 2730, and an Anderson's just accessory connection plug bank connected to it. And it's been fine. I've had no problems with it. It's a 30 amp power supply, so you get a little bit of headroom, which is nice. That's what I've been using. I also have an MFJ. I got a big boy. So the other one that's, I don't know if this is for everybody, but I'll mention it because I use it. It's my bench power supply most of the time. So that's a 4245 MVP. This big chungus. This guy is a 45 amp power supply. Did they change it? Sometimes MFJ will do that to you. Did I have it wrong? 4245. 4245. Yeah. I think they did. They might. Yeah. It's this guy. It's over $200, but it's a 45 amp power supply. It has Andersons in the back. It has banana plugs in the front, a 12-volt lighter adapter. It has a myriad of stuff going on. So if you're ever watching my stuff and you see like an overhead view and you see radios connected, it's on this guy. This is a pretty beefy boy. And then I have more like lab accurate power supplies that have like an extreme accuracy on power supplies. And those are probably not something you need to be as concerned of with ham radio. Anybody else? Oh, Astron. Astron makes a really good power supplies too. Astrons are very popular, very good.
I just dropped two good links. 35 amp Astron power supply, absolutely love it. I have one of my own, and a 70 amp that I used to have. I still recommend it. I didn't need it was too much for me, so I got rid of it.
Yeah.
But absolutely recommend it for the bigger shacks where you have perhaps multiple VHF, UHF, and HF radios. But the 35 amp, it works great for HF and one, maybe two VHF, UHF radios on receive at the same time. Absolutely works wonderfully. Astron all the way.
I was gonna add to that is I've got a 50 amp here, but I got it used, and they're extremely easy to rebuild. Parts are cheap. Astron still ships it, so if you see one, like mine was low on the outputs, I had a filter cap I had to fix. But if you see one at a hams or a swap meet or something that's just low, or actually this one was an old audio back when I worked at Sears of all places. It ran the car stereo demo rack. So it was beat to crap for years, just running stereos and all the head units. But that was an easy fix. So if you can find an Astron from an old repeater site or something, very easy to repair for. Maybe you might get it used and parts for under $200.
Yeah, this is also a really good point of clarification. There is a difference between a linear power supply and a switching power supply. So the first two MFJ models are switching power supplies. Astrons are generally linear power supplies. Once upon a time, that distinction meant a whole lot. It doesn't mean as much as it used to, but if you want the purest power output, a linear power supply is going to be the biggest bang for your buck, but you're also going to pay more for them. With that said, as you've heard already, they're easy to rebuild, and you can find them at ham fests. You can find them in the used market. And generally, linears are bigger and they're heavier. So you kind of have to account for that. But at the same time, they're generally worth it across the board. All right. Also, I kind of like these Alincos. I don't know what it is about the look of these things. I just really like the look of these Alincos. It's over $200 though for a 30. I think that's a 30 amp. Yeah, 30 amp.
You can get the 330 MVT for like $190. That's what I bought when I got my FTDX10.
Does it have Anderson? Does it have power poles?
It has banana plugs in the back and then the wire speaker plugs in the front.
Yeah. So I think that's how they're getting your money out of you. For the 530, you get a power pole, and then you get a couple of USB ports. The Alinco power
I've been running the 430 for a long time, the Alinco 430, and it works great. But the one thing I will say on the switching power supplies, pay attention to the connectors you're using. Some of the plugs that are on, like I think on the Alinco on the front, those front Andersons don't do the full 20 amps. So if you're going to draw 20, be sure to use the rear ones. But, read the manual and make sure you're connecting to the right connector on there, even if it's got multiple connectors. Make sure you get the one that's delivering the power you need.
Another good one, the Rig Expert Shackmaster.
The Shackmaster.
Yeah,
it's got power poles for days.
And expensive too.
The Rig Expert. Oh yeah, this is the Gigaparts boy. Yeah.
Yeah, the new one.
Have you guys talked about the Samlex?
No, but Samlex is a great brand. We use them commercially.
Oh, yeah.
I personally found an RS50, sorry, a VS50 with meters at a Ham Fest for less than $50, but it was toast. It just needed rectifiers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And that was for less than $100. I've got a $400 or so a bargain.
Yeah, the one that I got from an office that was closing down, and it's a linear Samlec, and it worked for quite some time, and it did finally go out, but I can easily get it repaired, and yeah, it cost us about $300 or $400 when we bought it.
Yeah, so Corpse Lot, I don't know if you expected that kind of answer, but that's one of those deep dives that hams will go in on, and they'll have lots of thoughts, because there's actually a wealth of really good power supplies out there, both in the retail market and the used market. So that is a whole bunch of information, and really, I think any of these ones you really can't go wrong on. So yeah, a good question
Now,
from. Go ahead.
I will say this: if he is looking to do something portable, that's a whole nother ball of wax.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
battery.
Yeah,
You go battery at that point.
Battery for sure.
You go
but
battery.
The nice thing with the Astrons, they're all the good ones are all linear, and the problem James was talking about with the rectifiers, Big Jim, FAP Labs Radio, actually has a good video series on how he fixed his Astron with that problem if you run into it and you don't want to ship it back to Astron to get it repaired.
Big Jim.
Was that after he created the problem?
And the thing about the Astron linears is they're pretty much a lifetime. You can replace all the guts except for the coil, and for not very much money.
Yeah.
And they're a lifetime for that linear amp.
Ooh. I don't know. I just got hit with the yawns there. So okay, everybody. Again, the after chat usually is a little bit more free formed. We always want to make sure that there was any questions we didn't answer. That live stream we did with the Boondock guys was so good. There was very few questions because I think we answered most of them, and obviously a lot of this stuff is roadmap things to come, which is awesome. So we got at least some of them still in the chat. So if a question comes up, just ping us. It's no problem. We'll stop. But this is now the time where we are going to open the doors and welcome everybody new to the HRCC Discord. If this is your first time here to the Discord, or you have a ham radio question, I'm not going to be too serious about any of this. You don't have to be on Discord or anything like that. If you got a YouTube question or anything like that, we'll take it. It's an open door policy now. Anybody, anywhere, have a question, we'll take them. So yes, even Maverick BNA, go for it. We'll take them live right now.
I appreciate it.
Oh, someone's in there, but they're a 2-3 signal report. Can you fix your audio settings?
K4 like RNT audio deck.
A little bit better. We're going the right direction. You got that mic right in front of you. Go for it.
Test 1 2 3.
Way better. Let me do a quick shout out for this super chat from K40PQN. Hey Josh, thanks for all you do today. I tested and got my general class, but I also coerced my neighbor to get his technician today as well. 73. Well, 73 to you as a brotherhood of the Joshes. Thank you for becoming an amateur radio operator. All right, now we'll go back to the call already in progress. What's your question?
How familiar are you guys with J-pole antennas?
I'd say middling to very.
Okay, I've just installed an open stub J-pole at my home QTH, and I'm gonna try and figure out how to use the Nano VNA to make sure that it's tuned correctly, and that and it was pre-built, so I need to see if it's just an assembly, something that needs to be tightened down or something like that.
Well, so You're like you're giving us a. We're too far along the story. Are you experiencing a problem?
My mistake.
What's going on?
I have just installed an OpenStub JPOL, and I think I just need to tune it. And I've never used the Nano VNA before.
Why do you think
so
you need
I'm
to
new
tune
to because I'm getting poor signal receive on the receive side on 440. It's a dual band JPOL.
Okay.
And I'm getting I get a stronger signal on my HT than I do on my JPOL outside. It comes into the home station at an S3, S4, but it comes out an S9 on my HTs. And even though it is very Arrow antennas, it's an OpenStub JPOL.
That's the one with the 3 poles?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Let
Feed
me
line?
pull that up.
Yeah, feed line is RG211. I don't. I'm trying to remember the thicker one that's thicker than RG8.
So
There's a lot of those, unfortunately.
I think it's RG214.
You're talking about this
14?
open
No.
stub J-poles with the aluminum rods?
Yes.
Okay. So if it was a ladder line J-pole, then yeah, that's way easier to tune. I would even argue that a copper plumbing J-pole is easier to tune. The problem with the open stub J-poles is that they're like tapped and threaded for the length that they're supposed to be. Does the documentation cover tuning at all?
It says it comes pre-tuned, but I wanted to.
If it's RJ213, you will have.
Wait, let him answer the question, please.
Go ahead, sir.
No. What? Does it say?
Okay, my mistake.
Well, I asked a question. Does the manual say anything about tuning it? It does not, right?
I don't think so. We preliminarily hooked it up to an antenna analyzer, an MFJ one that only was able to give me SWR readouts on 2 meters.
Oh, okay.
And
so
it gave me 1.2 to 1.
So you haven't tested it on 70 centimeters, though?
I'm trying to test it on 70 centimeters, yes.
Gotcha. Okay. So with the HT in question, are you outside when you test when you receive the signal with the HT? Are you still getting an S9 inside?
I'm still getting an S9 inside.
Okay. What kind of antenna do you have on the HT, out of curiosity?
And about a 12-inch whip.
Okay. So an upgraded antenna. Regardless, you would expect the J-pole to be better performing than that. So now let's go back to the feed line. So the previous commenter, I'm sorry, I didn't catch who it was, but go ahead and mention the thought that you had on the coax feed line, because I think it's a good one.
Yeah, RG213. We've got that at one of our repeater sites, and it is nothing but an attenuator compared to like an LMR or better.
On 70 centimeters in particular.
On 70 centimeters, yes.
And when I first bought my feed line, I bought some cheap Chinese cable RG8X from Amazon. Was going to use that, but was directed to use otherwise, and was provided with some RG213.
So question, how far is the run from the antenna to the radio?
About 15 feet.
15 feet isn't bad. Honestly, like, would it be very difficult for you to swap out the feed line? You had RG8X, even the cheap Chinese stuff? Like, just swap it out?
Perhaps. I don't. We've already taped it down and formed silicone tape around the junction, but I could always tear that off and put fresh one on.
Well, so here's a thought, right? So, do you have coax adapters or anything like that?
I'm all I need is in like a PL2 or an SO238 to reverse SMA, I think.
Yeah, sorry, I should have been more specific. I should have explained more the concept of this testing. So it's entirely possible that you could just disconnect your antenna off of your handheld, go outside, and take that Chinese RG8X and drop it directly down from the antenna or wherever the antenna is at, and plug it in directly with the appropriate adapter. I'm curious if were you provided hand-me-down coax by chance?
It actually was.
Okay. So I don't know that the issue with the antenna is the antenna itself and not the feed line in question.
Yeah, that would make sense too. Thank you.
So in some cases, that RG8X that you bought brand new from somewhere with even poor quality out of China might be better than how that particular coax you were gifted was maintained, or just, how it was used.
Okay. Yeah.
But I don't know, and I don't know. So
Yeah.
before you even crack out the Nano VNA or crank it, whatever, you can test this all by now. So by the way, here's the, I'm gonna go primary screen on this one. There's nothing I like more than when you have the capability of doing A/B comparisons. And we've got A/B comparisons here. We've got 2 radios, we've got 2 different feed lines, we've got 1 coax. I bet that if we played around with different mismatching parts of that, we could determine if a uniform factor was the failure of the antenna by changing feed lines to see if the signal intensity went up or down and change radios. If we did that across the board with multiple radios, multiple feed lines, we might be able to look at it and go, oh yeah, that antenna has a problem. But if you took off the feed line that was the hand-me-down and put even your cheap Chinese coax onto it, and your signal quality improved, then now it's like, okay, no, we have a separate issue because the antenna's giving me more than potentially even that Chinese coax can pass through, if that makes sense. How long is that Chinese coax that you have? You still there?
Sorry, I'm push to talk. 15 or 18 feet.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so it's about the length of the run. So generally, if you're gonna be active on VHF UHF, by the way, I am the exception to the rule, but it's because I live in Southern California. I can get away with cheap coax, but you want really good coax on 70 centimeters because you start picking up a lot of line loss, right? And that's where you should get something like LMR 400 or even better than that for, what you need to do.
Okay, for a run of that. Oh, go ahead.
No, you can take over now. It's not that
important. I was going to ask, what would be your recommendation for the type of coax I should see if I'm going to buy a fresh LMR 400 for
I would still go LMR
2 and 40, 2 and 70. Because I'd like to keep the option open for me to, I can always run a fresh length of feed line for that. I have a 6-meter whip, that a radial Larson that my friend picked up while scrapping.
Yeah.
And
6 meters is going to be a lot more forgiving to line loss. The higher the frequency, the more line loss.
Yeah. I want to learn more about that, and my rig is capable, and I have the antenna, so I just need to run them out to my roof. So
okay, so now let me get you more information here. So
okay,
let me go to my let me do Nano VNA HRCC. I don't know if this will work. Yeah.
While he's looking that up, I'm going to tell you that the 213 is the worst as far as specifications. The RG8, not X, but regular size 8 is next. LMR 400 is better than the other 3, and then however much money you want to spend from there on. So if there's a great deal for 8, it's okay.
Yeah.
And 8AU.
8AU's better.
And while you're at it, if you want the really good coax and you don't mind it's not really that much more expensive, go to Messi and Poloni, mnp.it, and use discount code K8MRD, because I know Mike would want to inject that here.
I have my own, I should have my own soon, but I don't yet. But yeah, so, yeah. Coax is a tricky business.
Or ABR works too.
They're all good. It just comes down to how flexible you need it to be, how thick it's going to be overall, and what your line considerations are on loss. And generally, manufacturers, they will produce a little chart that tells you over 100 feet of this coax, we have this much line loss at this much at this frequency, right? So you have to consider that. RG8 is like the lowest, like a lot of loss, but it's going to be better than like a water saturated coax hand-me-down that you got that was much higher quality, right? That's what we're trying to separate out here, right? Now, here's the thing. Here's the important factor. I just dropped a link to my Nano VNA video, which I believe goes through the calibration process and how to do an SWR plot. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing. If you connect a Nano VNA to bad coax to an antenna that is good, the coax will give you a false positive as to how good that antenna actually is.
Okay.
It could make the antenna's SWR seem really good because it's the feed line is making it behave almost like a dummy load, right? So that's the trick here.
Yeah.
So that's why I was focusing more on maybe swapping out the coax and trying that first before we go Nano VNA, because ultimately what I'm going to say is get yourself some LMR 400, good, clean, 15, call it 25 feet. Get yourself 25 feet of LMR 400. That's maybe $50, maybe less than $50. That's not that bad. Go buy yourself some of that.
I am planning on returning the EX.
Okay.
I got
weather
already.
Strip the crap out of it, right? Just, weather protect
I've
it
got
to all
silicone
9
tape.
yards. Good. No, wait. What do you mean silicone tape?
Silicone tape that will form to waterproof the terminal connection.
On the outside?
On the outdoor connection, yeah, to the antenna.
On the outside of the coax connection.
Yeah, on the outside of the connector.
Okay, so we usually don't call it silicone tape. Usually it's self-amalgamating tape. Do you have something?
Okay, I'm my apologies on getting the terminology wrong.
No, it's okay. So self-amalgamating tape is something you can buy, or you can buy something called mastic. Mastic is like a goopy substance that you smear over the outside, and then you kind of wrap the whole thing with electrical tape. Do all of that. Like, just go above the connector, below the connector, go back and forth. Just coat it up. You're not losing any money by putting some good coax seal on there, particularly if you're dropping big cash on good coax, right?
Yeah. He also provided my Elmer that helped me with the installation. Also gave me some used some Scotch 88 electrical tape to act as an outer sealant.
Good.
On top of self-amalgamating tape.
Yeah, so you should absolutely use an outer connector on some of these coax seals, because while they seal the coax really well, they're really bad when they get hit with rain, winds, lots of sun, etc. So account for that.
Yeah. My rig is about 7 feet above the ground, and the longest I believe is close to 50 inches.
Okay. So that's the issue here, is that, like, I can tell you how to go use the Nano VNA, but I think you might be getting a false positive in this case. So this would be an instance where I would put that Chinese coax back on there and see if you get a different result, because at the end of the day, and hear me out. Let me go back to the Arrow antenna. This is just a block of aluminum with some threaded rods connected into it. They either did it right or they didn't do it right. Tuning this seems like something you should not have to do. It's going to be relatively finite. There's nothing really to worry about in the tuning space, particularly for 70 centimeters for a ground plane. It is the ground plane. All that metal is the ground plane. So I'm hesitant to tell you to have to go mess around with that, unless you had a really good piece of coax into it that you could do some serious testing with. Barring that, this is what I would say to do. Yeah. Yeah, Mark makes a good point. You can absolutely test the coax with the Nano VNA. You could also calibrate the Nano VNA with the coax in the line, which would then remove it from the entire situation. And that I talk about that in the video as well. Yeah, but as far as like just let's get this up and running and get it done, like I would probably change the coax or try the Chinese stuff again and see if you got better results on the receive side.
Okay. I did a search for LMR 400, and I'm also coming up with something called KMR 400. Is that like a competing standard or a different type of feed line?
I don't know, but generally I go through APR Industries. I have a link in the description. That might
Okay.
be,
Yeah, I'm just doing a basic search so I can get an idea of how much this expenditure is going to be.
If you go to ABR's website, they've got a deal that'll help you construct whatever you want. It might look expensive, but there's a discount code that either Josh or Coffee and Ham Radios or somebody's got a discount code out there, and Chuck will help you if you call them.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
And Messi and Poloni has a similar calculator as well to help you out as well in figuring out exactly what you need.
Yeah,
Great, that's awesome. Thank you for all the great advice. This has been fantastic.
Yeah.
One thing that I would say is before you start going and buying coax, make sure you're testing it on the same exact radio, because your HT S meter is going to be completely different from a base station S meter.
Agreed.
That might be another good thing is take the coax feed on the back of the mobile or whatever you got inside the shack and put your HT on it and see if it responds the same. If it also has very attenuated signals, then okay, now we're talking feed line and coax. Then swap out the coax with the Chinese stuff. I assume the Chinese stuff, stock for stock, is not going to be as good. But if the other hand-me-down coax is, compromised in some way, then the Chinese stuff will probably behave better. And if you put both radios on the Chinese stuff, then all of a sudden you get a good A to B comparison.
Gotcha. Thank you. I just plugged in my requirements into the ABR website for the amateur radio coax builder.
Yeah.
How much of a discount is that code?
I don't know. Take the link in the description and you can see. I don't know if.
Oh yeah, I haven't pulled up an LVNA video yet. Hang on.
Yeah, at Gigaparts, Josh, don't you get 10% off?
On Gigaparts, if they have.
I used to live about an hour from Gigaparts.
Let me grab the link
Gigaparts,
for ABR.
yeah, Gigaparts sells ABR in pre-built sizes. So, but again, if you're going custom,
there's a code 10% off with the code ABR10 HRCC. 10% off.
Well, there you go.
There you go. I just dropped
thank
in the
you.
chat. Yep. Oddly enough, I have had good experiences with Amazon
not
coax.
buying my coax from Amazon.
Well, I've had good results with buying Amazon coax and bad results. So you are dipping into the higher side of the frequencies where Amazon coax is kind of bad. That is true. 70 centimeters is kind of the clearinghouse for a lot of the crap coax, and you can kind of tell even if you have a really good antenna, if you put bad feed line into it, it's not going to do very well.
It's just on the receive that I'm fine, but I do get a stronger signal on 70 centimeter than I do 2 meter to a local repeater who's on both 2 and 440.
Yeah, see, that's funky to me. That's also
yeah,
funky.
and one is I think I'm at least S5, but I'm not getting S9 yet.
Yeah, I hate to bring it up, but has anybody had any good luck with those antennas? I switched mine out for an Ed Fong J-pole, and it worked 1,000% better.
Actually, we just had a presentation from Ed Fong at my local ham radio club, and I ordered one of his dual band J-poles as well.
Did you get
DBJ1.
Did you get the one in the coax or?
Well, no, the one that you put in a PVC pipe.
Yeah.
I bought that one that you provide your own PVC pipe for.
Right. Yeah, I've had better luck with it. I'm not saying the J-pole is the problem.
And the thing is, the J-pole I've had in my closet for years because I didn't have the capability, the sufficient permissions needed to install it at my old home. So I'm just now able to deploy it.
Let's talk through this. So While it would be great if you go buy new coax, I don't know that you're there yet. This is what I'm going to go back to it. You already have A/B comparison equipment available to you. You got two radios, you got two coaxes, right? This is where I would put the HT on the coax that's already there, see if the signal goes up. If it doesn't go up, okay, we know it's a feed line and an antenna is where the problem is. Now, you have coax. Swap the coax out and see if you can snake it into the radio that was having the problem, or connect to the HT now that you've tested the HT and the HT shows the same result, right? So now you've calibrated in your mind, if you will, that the HT functions the same as the other radio. Then test the result. If you get a much better performance out of the new coax, then there isn't a problem with the antenna. It's the coax, the first coax. If you still have a problem, then now you're talking, okay, maybe this is truly an antenna problem. The problem there is there's not much you can do with it. Again, we already talked about that. It's a hunk of aluminum, right? You're either going to ditch that antenna and get a new antenna, build your own, get the Edfong. Edfong is great. I'm totally on board with that. I have another link in this live stream description for Edfong J-poles if you want to check that out.
I just had a presentation from Edfong a couple of weeks ago.
Question.
Yeah, great, man. Go for it.
Yeah, what kind of radio are you using to receive with?
I'm using a TH9800 50-watt quad-band FM mobile.
Is this TYT?
I'm using it as a base station.
TYT, right? TYT?
TYT.
Yeah, that's okay.
And it seems to work on everything else.
Or anything on there, is there?
Not. I'm still looking through the menus.
There's not an RF gain receive side. No.
Okay.
There's a squelch.
I just had that problem. I actually just had that problem with my 7300. I was like, what's going on? And then I realized the RF gain was turned way down.
Yeah. I mean, that's something. Well, actually, you might want to. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole here because RF gain's a whole thing we can talk about. This was, I think, a helpful question. I think we've given you some food for thought to go try some stuff. You got a Sunday tomorrow. You can probably knock all this stuff out then.
Yeah. Thank you again for all this help. I appreciate you letting me join in the conversation.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
7-3 from and greetings from Seattle.
Oh, right on. I do love going to Seattle. Been there about 5 times in my life. Good place. If you like rain, Seattle's the place for you. It's a beautiful, beautiful rainy atmosphere.
If you have to go to T-Mobile's headquarters, you go to Seattle.
There you go. All right, let's open it wide open. Anybody, anywhere in the chat, whether you're on Discord, YouTube, Twitch, or even X, formerly Twitter. Drop your comment, question in the chat. Go ahead. We are getting lots of chats. Yeah, Shadow Warrior,
I'm
go
coming
ahead.
back with. I'm coming back with my DMR exploration.
All right, we sent the man out to explore the world of DMR. Mitchell Pilot, though, has a super chat. Thank you, buddy. He's given us another one. Appreciate you, man. Cheers to you. All right, we're ready to hear from the world of DMR. Go for it.
All right, so as you know, I've been having issues. Well, I figured out one of my issues was the map antenna locator for the repeater book was throwing me for a loop. I figured that out.
Okay.
But I took a 2-hour drive out to a couple towns near me, and I got connected to the repeaters, so I know my radios are working now.
Good.
But it still leaves me with the spot where I have no repeaters near where I live.
Mm-hmm.
So my fix for that was I ended up going out and getting the R Finder, the B1 Plus, so I can have my DMR.
Your fix for that was
wherever.
a $1,000 phone. That was the fix.
Well, I mean, I don't have to carry a hotspot wherever I go.
Fair enough. You got me on that one. Okay. But this is because you're on the go too. You're trying to do this on the go, right?
Yeah, I don't usually have a whole lot of time to play radio because I work like 6-7 days a week sometimes. So I want to be able to do it when I have the chance and I feel like doing it.
What if I said you could buy like $100 Yagi antenna for 70 centimeters and just point it in the direction of the repeater you wanted to hit, and it would hit it?
I have a Yagi and I have a 50-watt amplifier, and I can sometimes hit the repeater where I'm at, but I have to stand on the roof.
Okay, so then yes, you geographically are positioned in such a place that you can't make this work. So yeah, the R Finder would be a good option for you then. So how's that been going?
It's been good. It gives me my old Note 3 vibes with it running the Android 9, but it doesn't bother me. I always loved my Note 3. But the one thing I can't find is a pinout for the mic and headset plug-in on the side. So I don't know if there's any other connectors that'll plug into that, because I'd like to get either the 3-prong, like the headset mic adapter, or a Kenwood adapter for this thing, so I could actually use it as a crossband repeat.
I don't know of it. You should probably contact them, or I would go consult my bin of headsets from phones of days of yore and all the other headset electronic crap that I've got. Go ahead, Mike.
I believe it's the Motorola standard.
Oh, there you go.
And just to add on to that as well, because it's RFinder and Bob works very close with Tex and Jason, hit up KC5HWB, Ham Radio 2.0. He might have the answer for you.
Don't hit him up. Hit up the company that sold the damn radio. Guys, okay.
Bob and Jason work together.
I'm not
Jason
saying
says
that
the US
Jason doesn't know, but I'm saying that like the right answer comes from the manufacturer in this case. If it's not in the manual or something like that, he needs to put it in the manual. It needs to be part of whatever it is they put out. So give that feedback back to them. Don't give it to Jason could answer your question. He could know tomorrow. He could reply to every one of your questions. I'm not saying he doesn't do that. That's not the point of what I'm saying. I'm saying get this feedback back to Bob. Get him to answer the question. Get the documentation updated so they include that. It's important.
Well, I know Bob, he sells his own little mic adapters, and they're constantly out of stock, so I'm going to have to figure out how to get a hold of him.
I'm hoping his website tells you. Wait, okay, we'll just
There's a rfinder.wiki that has a whole bunch of information on headset connectors.
Oh, rfinder.wiki? All right.
Okay, because I didn't see it in the manual, so I'm glad you told me that.
And if you have to
a Discord as well, apparently.
If you have to email him, support@rfinder.net.
Speaker mic? You talking about the speaker mic connection on the side, or what are we talking about?
Yeah, it's I think it's like a 20 or 24 pin.
Is it the little slap-on thing on the side that you put down with the screw?
Yes.
Yeah, it's right here. You just need to line that up to whatever your pinouts are. But I mean, that's not really a wholesome answer of go homebrew your own cable, right? I will drop this.
Well, I mean, if there's already a pre-made one, I just need either a Kenwood connector or the phone jack where it has the mic and the headphones.
So everybody's screaming it's the Motorola connector. It's the same as the Motorola. So any Motorola audio accessory that you could think of probably connects to this, as long as it's the same physical, like lever in, pushed flat, and then screw down.
I will say this, it does look extremely similar to the APX XPR series microphone connector.
Yeah, just don't do what I did and over tighten the screw and snap the damn thing off.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
I don't want to speak for Jason, but we love all you guys. But sometimes you ask us questions where we are really not in a position to answer them, like, you should contact the manufacturer because they need this feedback to say, hey, guys, update your documentation so that, like, people don't ask us to solve their problems. Like, I've gotten wild questions on different radios. It's like, guys, if you're having a problem with the radio, please contact the manufacturer. I think they'd like to hear from you in that the sense that you've become a longtime customer and would buy your next radio, that, you know, the next one of whatever they offer and all that stuff. I think that would be part of, like, the service that they offer. So do that, please. All right.
Well, I mean, how many people are trying to go from DMR to analog crossband repeat with a R finder?
I actually would not be. So I have talked to Bob about this in person. I'm like, Bob, I need to be able to move analog data into different digital modes, and I also need the capability to get radio information from the radio into the Android so that I can do APRS on it. Like, I've talked to Bob in person about this. So there are definitely people asking these questions. And he wants to do it. He does. He wants to do it. He wants to make this happen for us. So we're waiting.
Well,
I'm waiting.
I think the APRS stuff is working. I think I've seen that.
Between the radio and the Android, so that you could run something like, what is it, APRS Droid, and be able to do APRS. That'd be news to me if that was working.
Yeah, you need an internal sound card, it sounds like.
No, I think he's got it. He's got it in the ROM now. I think it's doing it through the ROM.
That's not what I was looking for. I asked him to feed the information into the Android so the Android could have it as like a device, right? As like a serial device. That's what we want. We want the radio. It's like, oh my God, could you imagine? You had one device you pull out, and it was a radio, but at the same time, it has a serial device connection to the Android, which allowed you to do whatever app you wanted to run. You could run FT8, you could run APRS, you could run WinLink, whatever you wanted, right? That's the dream. So,
well, instead of like a virtual audio cable, couldn't you physically take the headphone jack and plug it into the mic jack and use Vox on the R-Finder side?
You could, but how gratifying is that, right? The solution is you bought a box. The box parts should be able to talk to the other box parts inside the box, if you will. I'm not saying you couldn't make it work if you just slam fired it in there, but anyway. All right, we're gonna move on from this. I contact Bob. Come back and actually update us on this. I would like to hear more of this continuing story of your DMR journey. So appreciate that, man.
Hey Josh, I just dropped a picture of my Motorola XPR connector in the live stream chat.
That doesn't look the same.
Yeah, I was going to say the pinout is vastly different.
Yeah, the pins are different. The connector is the same. Okay, well, more questions than answers at this point, fellas. So let's I'll drag that up here.
Comment about DMR.
Do I want to take another comment about DMR? I guess so. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got a GD88 the other day. I've been playing with it as an analog to DMR, then to a Pi Star to get back to Brandmeister. That was a wild ride to set up.
I bet. How you doing, man? You're still hanging on?
Ooh, man, just barely, man. The Pi Star kept like corrupting or something on me because it would wig out and then I'd have to reflash it. But yeah, it's pretty neat. It's pretty cool. I'm enjoying the GD88 is tricky to program as well, but it's pretty cool.
Is it any easier than the GD77?
I've never owned one of those, so I'm not sure. I'm doing all of my programming through the software that's probably got some malware in it or something. I don't know.
Okay.
I had the GD77 a long time ago.
Remember the GD77? Remember that? That was kind of when
I had one. It sucked.
The promise of like hacking radios was real with the GD77.
Yeah.
Right.
Then you made it impossible.
Oh. And then they were like, actually, no. when we don't allow it.
Goddamn 77.
Since he's in the chat, can we just all stop and admire for a second what Quirky James did with his radio for April 1st?
James, you have you tricked an entire ham nation into believing you did something that was impossible to do. Do you feel good about yourself, James? Will you be back again next year?
I could have sworn that I actually did that. That it turned out that it was just some video editing. I slipped my mind, I guess.
Yeah, I don't like. There are people who are still replying like, you are a god amongst men. Thank you so much for doing this. Like, they believe you really. There are people on like the 4th of April that are replying to you like, it's amazing.
And I can't help but keep playing along.
I know you are. That was the
thing. And I put April Fools. If people read the thread, I said April Fools as soon as April 2nd hit.
But the whole day long, you kept it going. Like, you were in the thread, like telling people, "Oh no, yeah, I did this. It's a highly volatile beta, and it works, guys."
Yes, I was saying it was bricking people's radios. I even got a friend of mine to chime in and say the same thing.
Oh,
it was great.
Yeah, you dove in hard on that. Good.
Let me find. I
gotta take it up a notch every year.
You did a good job. I do have to have a big shout out for N6 ARA and the huge key that he made. That was real
awesome.
Key.
I want one. I want that. Like, he should make and sell those. I think I would buy that. I bought the small one. I got to have the big one now.
I know. Like and so like when I saw the thumbnail, I thought it was a forced perspective joke that they did, but then you see him holding the big key, and it was so cool. I was like, "Oh, that!" I texted my buddy Mark. Mark's friends with ARA. Mark is the one who shot all the video that actually it's on Mark's channel. Now I take it back. And Mark was like, he was taking my dumb questions that I had asked him, like, how long did it take him to print this thing? He's like, oh, it took him like 2 days to print the body, the orange shell. And he's like, oh yeah, he was literally fixing it in the parking lot, and we also fixed more of it when we got to the summit. So we barely did any of this video, and I'm like, oh, that's amazing. That was so good. It was really, really good.
That is awesome. He should do a short run of those, and I know it would be expensive, but he should do it.
I should tell him that. I'm like, dude, just do the big key. We yearn for the big key. That's funny. Okay, so let's see. I got a bunch of comments here. Let's go back a step here. Question from Glenn Vaughn. What is a good radio for receiving HF? Just receiving, not transmitting. Just a receiver. So like a shortwave receiver?
Shortwave radio, like one of those hand crank ones, or maybe
no,
even hand crank ones can be that.
No.
It depends.
ICOM 8600.
No, geez, Don. So the issue you have here is you got two things, right? So if you want HF, and by the way, unfortunately, this is also one of those it depends reply back to you. Let's have a discussion. HF is a big frequency space that includes broadcast shortwave radio stations. Broadcast shortwaves are generally in AM, amplitude modulation. Amateur radio, though, is single sideband, which you generally have to have a radio, a shortwave receiver, that will do single sideband capability. There are two that I recommend as receivers. Both of them you have to take outside to play with them, I feel, or have a good external antenna. It is the C Crane Skywave single sideband version 2, or the CountyCom GP7. Those are the two that I would say that's a good starting point, which is a good baseline receiver, highly portable, and be useful for that. With that said, again, there are a number of HF SDR dongles that you can get, like the SDR Play RSP1, which is a $100 radio, which is about the same cost as the C Crane and the GP7. And you can do HF with that, and it will be really good. You'll have to be connected to a computer to make that work.
I can't believe you didn't lead with the IC705 or the Hermes Light, Don.
Well, Don had to go big or go home.
Yeah, I had to be funny.
He went full box
Exactly.
traditional radio. P. Quimby says, question, I caught the satellite bug last week, and I have been able to work the ISS with a Yagi and then APRS with my Ed Fong at 30 feet. It's clear antennas matter. Oh, I think it's in the Discord. So, yes, you the amazing story. I'm not sure what the question was, but maybe repost it because I think we blew past it. Let's see. Bright Night Metalworks. Question, Josh, new tech working on General played with DIY wire antennas, SO238. Parasails by analysis for first portable HF antenna. End-fed half-wave dipole coil, 10 meters with room to grow under 200 feet. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of words. A lot of words. End-fed half-wave dipole coil. Those are almost like three separate antennas. You can have an end-fed half-wave. You can have a dipole. You can have a coil, but usually it's on a vertically loaded coil. So I'm not sure what the question is. All the answers, though, if you're on 10 meters, is build whatever antenna you want. Go to Home Depot, buy the appropriate amount of wire, and get on the air with that, because 10 meters is an absolutely small band in comparison for HF to get on the air. It's not a lot of wire to make that work successfully and effective. So.
Mm-hmm. And for the previous question on the satellite bug, I just tagged you so that you can reference it directly in Discord.
Okay. I'm going to...
I use an MCOM3 for my 10-meter stuff as a technician.
Oh, you found it. Okay. Question, it's clear antennas matter, and there are lots of options for satellite. Does anyone have a good summary of 2 meter, 70 centimeter satellite antennas and their properties? Oh, Paul. Hey, Paul. Cheers to you, buddy. Thanks for coming out. I always have to see the avatar sometimes. I'm a face kind of guy when it comes to remembering people. So, Paul, I definitely remember you, buddy. Good hanging out. Okay, so... are you talking about handheld satellite antennas? Are you talking about Azel vertical, Yagi type antennas? What do you mean? Generally, I think most people give the nod for gain to the arrows. I think the log periodic of the elk is not as high gain, and then a lot of folks are using. Oh God, what's the satellite company that makes the VHF sat pack? What's the sat pack antenna? Who remembers that?
You're not talking about the arrows, are you?
No, I mean, well, I guess that goes back to, Paul, feel free to dive in here. Are you talking about a handheld antenna? Or are you talking about getting a rotor and putting a mass mount type of thing?
M-squared?
I was mostly talking about handheld, but also I'd love to be able to put a more omnidirectional receive antenna outside just to be able to hear passes.
Okay.
Sat pack is M2.
Sat pack is M squared. That's what they call them. That's what I did on a live stream. And so it was like, it's not M2, it's M squared. I got called out on that. So M squared does the sat pack, and those would be the linear motor driven ones where you get the Azel Z, type of capability. But for handhelds, there's really only two that I know of. Actually, I take that back. Digital Rancher isn't here though. He could tell you. So the Arrow and the Elk are the primaries. The Arrow has higher gain than the Elk, particularly if you go with the Alaska. But the Alaska is going to require a tripod. It's going to stop being handheld at that point. But Digital Rancher had a great time using a handheld that he got off of Amazon that I featured in one of the videos I posted from Huntsville.
I do not see Rob in here tonight.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, he's not.
Hey, Mark Smith from Halibut Electronics is making a SatNog something or other that uses 2 quarter wave. I can't remember. Anyway, he's making a kit, but it's not ready yet. But that would be it's called a satnog. So he's making an eggnog or some kind of funny term. Anyway, look at Halibut Electronics, egg beater type. But yeah, uses a pretty cool setup. But you can hear with no gain in any direction, but you can hear from all directions well.
So Paul, if you haven't, go watch the videos that I did. Oh boy, I'm drawing a blank.
I've marked to watch him.
He's a part of the spurious emissions. Why am I?
I've marked to watch them already. I just can't listen to 2 copies of you simultaneously.
No, you should. Why am I? Oh, I'm so bad. I feel so bad. I'm literally like seeing his last name in my head. Oh, it's gonna drive me nuts. He did a whole series of videos on satellites with DX Engineering, and he shot multiple videos with me. Steve, is it Steve? It's not Steve. Is it Steve? Help me out. Nobody? Nobody's got anything? Chat? Where are you at on this one? Kutzko.
Yeah, Sean Kutzko.
Sean Kutzko. That's it. Okay, got it. Oh, the last name was what I needed to remember the last name. So go watch my videos I did with Sean Kutzko. That removes a lot of the ambiguity of all of this. So egg beaters generally are pretty bad, right? They're like, if you thought about, like, if you took an antenna and you made everything receive everywhere all at once, one time, that means that you're, like, it's just not going to be that good of picking up everything. It's attenuating it. So a lot of egg beaters they'll have preamps in line to boost the signal up. That's kind of the problem. So, keep that in mind. Egg beaters are generally not it when it comes to satellite operations. They are an option. They work well as receivers if you put a preamp behind them, but you still might want the gain of a Yagi on the transmit, if you catch my drift.
Yeah, that does make sense, and like I've seen some of them that are using Moxons, and that'd be convenient, but it also seems like you're just sacrificing gain.
Yeah, I don't even know what
But
that
you can
looks
stack Moxons.
Yeah, but you're always gonna, like, don't they have a vertical, like, null point then if you have them horizontally oriented?
No, they're horizontal.
But where's the null then? Vertically?
Yeah, good point.
Right, right. And if you have a 90-degree pass, then
you could always stack. What are they called? That like folded square dipole. You could always stack a couple of those different frequencies. Yeah, that's what you guys call them. Yeah.
A folded dipole.
Yeah, that's what they are. But yeah, I've heard them.
Yeah, they're square rather than being like
an oval.
Yeah.
Yeah, the brain. I've done a Josh. My brain's gone all. I'm because I'm old, but Josh is just having 5 minutes.
Yeah, I dropped the links to your videos with Sean.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, those were good. I really did enjoy. In fact, I got to bring him back on. We're doing a couple of things this year. We're going to go back and talk to some of our friends we haven't talked to for a while. So we're going to have the Long Island CW Club back. We're going to be talking with them. And I definitely got to get Sean back on, because Sean's another one of those guys. It's like you can talk to. It feels like 10 minutes and it's been an hour. There's just so much knowledge in that guy's heads. So I would love to bring him back.
Would it be possible to have him and the Digital Rancher on the same show?
I think I would separate them. Not that they shouldn't talk to each other. I have no problem with that. But like, I could spend an hour talking to Digital Rancher, and I could spend an hour talking to Sean. So let's make them their own videos and let them,
Oh yeah. I like to see people interact, but yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Oh no, I guess that's true. I can see where you're going with that. I guess that's like why you got to come to a ham fest, right? That's where you can see Digital Rancher talk to Sean Kutzko in person, because like that's what happens. We hang out in person together. But when it comes to a video, it's usually like let's have a focus that we're trying to convey information on, so people get educated on whatever that background is. So all right, let's I gotta change my WSJTX to dark mode. I just realized that. Somebody sent me a message like, Josh, you gotta make it dark mode. This is not. It's too gray. It's too bright. I'm like, yeah, I agree, man.
It is hard to see.
We gotta go stealth mode. We gotta go dark mode.
It does mess up the colors a little bit.
I know.
will say
with
that.
the grid tracker, yeah, it's throwing off the vibe is bad, guys. The vibe is bad on my WSJTX. I appreciate that. Let's you know what? Let's say hi to the YouTubers. We only have a couple, so let's make sure we get this out of the way. And I do appreciate Paul or Frank is back. Paul, where's Paul? Oh, I was just talking to Paul. Boy, I am a little tired, guys. I'll tell you what. We've been having some stuff going on this weekend. So I apologize, Frank. But Frank's back is where the point that I was going with. And Frank, you were also first. So what have you been up to? How dare you not be on the live stream last week? I'm just kidding.
Now, as Mark aptly pointed out before you got in here, I was running on close to 70 or 80 hours of no sleep, and migraine kicked in. I was just like, I could not do Saturday last week.
How did you go? Why were you doing 70 hours without sleep? What's that about?
Work. By the time you're the most familiar, I think, with our state. By the time I drive from here to Stockton, work 12 to 16 hours, get about 4 hours of a nap, and then work 12 to 16 hours back home, and then drive the trip from Stockton back home, and then I have basically a day to rest. And I have to do everything at the house. There's no time for anything else. I don't get to sleep much when I'm working that crazy. So there are times where I go 70, 80 hours with maybe 8 hours of cat nap. So it was it caught up to me, and I suffer from migraines too. So it was just one of those days. But enough about my 80-meter ailments here.
And it gave you gout.
No, it didn't give me gout, thankfully. That would just ruin work. Thank you, Don, for dropping my link. I have been pushing out videos every Tuesday night with the Tuesday night playlist leading up to Ham Radio Clubhouse. I am also pushing out videos, more of my longer form type videos on Saturdays at 12:30 Pacific time. I also have live streams Thursday, 8 p.m. Pacific, 0300 UTC. And once a month on the first Friday of the month, yesterday being the first one, I'm doing Q&A / Ask Me Anything live streams. So I'm doing that now. And next month's guest on May 3rd is a rather large, not Josh Large, but a rather large YouTuber, and I think it's going to be lots of fun. I was able to work it out with him, and he's going to come on, and it's going to be lots of fun. So look for videos from me Tuesdays, Saturdays, and live streams on Thursday, and sometimes a random Friday.
Excellent. Good job getting the schedule kicked up there. I like that. Very good.
Yeah, now I got to work with everyone else to try and get everyone else close to respectful. The bunch of us that are newer in the YouTube community, I'm still trying to work out the kinks of the scheduling. I figure get mine worked out so that I can then go, okay, well, this is where I stand. I'm willing to move around, of course, but I also have to move around based on my schedule.
Right.
And I almost think my schedule, because I work such an odd schedule with the railroad at nights, is the most hectic.
Yeah.
So if I can nail mine down, then everybody else should have no problem.
Yeah, fair point. Fair point. It's really tough. I mean, we all went through this. I mean, I don't want to say it's generation 2 of the ham radio creators. I think it was Mike that said that.
Yeah, it was Mike, and he's right, and so is Jody. I'm writing Ham Tubers, the next generation schedule.
The next generation. I like that. It's like Star Trek, the next generation. I like that. the thing is I think we all at some point realize that it's not. Oh, you let the dog in. Close the. Buddy, close the door. You let the dog in. The dog's gonna be barking out. Chloe, go. She's not gonna go. Dog doesn't listen to the kid. Oh my gosh, she listened. I can't believe it.
At least it's better than letting the
She
dogs
ran
out.
back. Chloe, go. Let's see if he closes the door in time. Hold on. Close the door. Not right now. I know. He wants to play the Steam Deck. He opened the door to tell me, hey, Josh, you should stop live streaming. I want to play Helldivers. I want to protect democracy for Super Earth. So
Democracy protection needs to wait another hour or so.
By the way, it's like one of the funniest games. If you ever wanted to, if you ever watched Starship Troopers and said, hey, this is the most ridiculous thing ever, they should make a video game about that. You should go download Helldivers 2. It is the most aptly correct game where you get to both fight the bugs from Starship Troopers, but you also get to fight Terminators as a separate nation. It's amazing. It's freaking awesome. Anyway, I think the point that a lot of us got to is we got rutted in the day that we do a thing. So my live stream is Saturday, Jason's is Sunday. We got TO on Mondays, Clubhouse is on Tuesdays. And then when people drop videos, I think people stopped caring as much, right? Because what we found within amateur radio is that even though we were all amateur radio themed, right? We were doing so much different stuff in amateur radio that we would see all these massive fluctuations in the videos. I'm live. You can't be hell diving. Close the door. Later. He's trying to sap all my bandwidth, make my stream fail again. So what we found is that honestly, this is not a limited pie mindset. And if anybody's heard this before, this limited pie mindset implies that if someone's watching Josh, they're not going to watch Frank or the other Frank, Tank Radio, for instance, not YouTube's Frank, right? That doesn't exist. What we've found in practice is that the more we drive content into the algorithm, the more we all get picked up in the related videos. So by continually making content that is related to other things that we're doing and other people are doing, we all just kind of got lifted up by that process. At the same time, particularly for the smaller channels who are trying to hit those milestones to get to the point that they can monetize and all that stuff, those, whatever day events were really good for scheduling a block, because then you would sometimes carry people over into a smaller channel that got them more views and more subscribers, which is just amazing. So that was great, but it's also really hard to coordinate that, and it sounds like you were experiencing that, Frank.
To a degree, yes. Yeah. One thing that we have found out through experimentation of all things, leave it to the hams to experiment, is the Tuesday night playlist. There are 3 or 4 of us that are actively working towards the 1,000 subscriber mark.
Yeah.
And now they've changed things up. So say for instance, Tim, Greyman POTA, were to go live right after you. Well, you could push all your viewers over to him if you wanted to, right?
In the live stream. With the redirects. You can redirect. It's not the same thing it's not the same thing as Twitch. So Twitch, you could dump everybody. You could take all your viewers and dump them on Twitch, which we can't do that.
Raids are totally different.
Yeah.
But the redirect, you could redirect and be like, hey, go watch Tim's stuff now because he's going live. Well, you could do that with the premieres. Well, 2 weeks ago, I was supposed to forward my premiere to Carlos's premiere, Life at Terminal Velocity. For some reason, it failed. And this last week, there were 3 of us that we couldn't even redirect at all. So I pulled a Tim. I hit YouTube up on Twitter and found out that they, without saying anything, changed it so that anyone under 1,000 subs could no longer redirect to other channels.
Yeah.
But those channels can redirect to us, no problem. Because Carlos and I went back and forth for about 30 minutes trying to work on it. So they did that. So now there's a group of us from the Tuesday night playlist that are trying to get our stats up at least to the 1K mark. I'm currently sitting about 263.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and honestly, that's a big milestone because it opens up a lot of capabilities. So I can understand chasing that is very important. And honestly, the playlist is the best way because then you just tell people it's like click on the playlist and you don't have to do anything. Once you click the playlist,
Right.
you're locked in. You're all good to go.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why each of us have our own playlist on each of our channels every week when we have a video in them. Anyway, enough with me. I know there's a few others in here as well.
I will say, though, that if you hear me on this, if anybody's watching that makes video, you're doing it because you like doing it. And all that stuff will come in time. And the more you sweat about it, it's taking you out of just making the video, right? So just make the videos. And you can hack the Gibson to your heart's content on the algorithm and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, if the core of the video is not good, it doesn't matter how much hacking you do. It's not going to change your placement. You might get more eyeballs, but those might not turn into subs. Or you might get more eyeballs, but they will only stay a little bit of time, right? Working on your production value is always more important than all this other stuff that you can do. You should do that in addition to having really good content and focusing on that. That's the goal. Always. That's always the goal.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
And
I know
I'll say this last thing, and then I know Don probably wants to say something. Out of my 266 subs, the video I dropped at 12:30 today now has 51 views, 14 likes, and is ranked number 3 out of 10 in the first 8-hour mark of ranking by views. So for channels my size, that's pretty darn good.
That is good. Yeah. You should be proud of that. You should be proud of that.
Oh, I'm definitely proud of it.
Just keep cranking, man. Keep cranking, because what's going to happen is you're just going to get better. You're going to learn more about your production values and what you like, what you don't like, and that's what's going to be important. So, go ahead. Don, do you have something to add?
No, the moment's passed.
Okay.
Sorry.
Moment's
passed.
No. That means we're going to
say is
Yeah.
What I was going to say is that so all those conferences that Jason goes to are just so much whatever.
What's that? Oh well.
You know what those things he goes off to.
Okay, so I've been to VidCon. I went to VidCon for 3 years. I met Casey Neistat. I met all the big players in YouTube, particularly in that time, 2015, 16, 17. They're all dancing around the concept that you have to have something that people want to watch. That's the first trick. And it's the trick that's hardest for people to really find out where their place is. And it's a combination of not just what people want to watch, but what you're willing to make, right? And so that's the real trick.
Your thumbnails need to look like this, but not like that, and all of that other stuff.
But that's hacking an already good product, if you will, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, absolutely get in there and start, making changes to titles and thumbnails and learning all that stuff. But you got to have something people want to watch to begin with, otherwise they're just not going to stick around. All right, the oldest is in here now. What's up?
Can I use Nintendo Light?
Why are you asking me? Go ask mommy. I don't know why you need the light. No, not the light.
Using the Steam Deck.
Okay, please go inside. I'm not doing this right now. The light, no.
Can I play full quiet after you're done?
No, you're not playing full quiet at all. Full quiet is insanely hard. Are you kidding? Okay, Ben's gonna live stream full quiet then. Apparently, after.
Hey, if he wants to play full quiet, let him play full quiet.
I'll live stream it. Let him live stream.
Yeah, there you go.
That's how we build a family brand.
So he's gonna live stream on Twitch.
Yeah, he's gonna live stream on Twitch full quiet. Ben the Man, or as we call BB Buckshot. Baby Buckshot was his nickname when he was a kid. All right, let's move on to Tim. Grayman POTA. Grayman's sitting there going, "Oh Jesus, these guys! I got a method for making videos. Let me talk about what I'm working on." That's right, Tim. Go ahead.
Everything Frank was saying, it's all about. It's a chore to get there, but it's all good. Frank, just keep putting out good videos, and people will find them and subscribe. Speaking of subscribing, wow,
Oh, we lost him. PTT
yeah,
button.
WPSD, and that's kind of cool. Is it Chip, the guy that took Pi-Star a step further, and so I'll probably be putting a video out on that. But I did want to kind of share. I've been pushing it out on Twitter, but I don't know if you guys saw Jim W6LG. I think your YouTube Elmer is his tagline.
Oh yeah.
So Callum has started a raffle where he's raffling off a DX Commander expedition and some other things, and I'm going to drop a link to that in the chat. He's using the proceeds from that to help help Jim out with the medical bills and everything like that.
Ham Radio Dude's doing something also.
But I think it was for the raffle. It was like 3,000 tickets. They work out to be about $3.80 a ticket, and they're selling 3,000 of them to raise money.
Yeah, that was. I mean, did you watch his video that Jim put out? Did everybody watch that?
I did, yeah.
It's kind of an interesting story about that. I mean, I didn't really know about all that background. So, but okay. So what's going on with you, man? It's tough to follow that one up a little bit.
No, just busy, busy. Stolen a winch. Put a winch on the Bronco today.
Right on. Okay. Yeah, I guess drop the link if anybody has it. Drop the link for Jim's video so you guys can see it. So Jim's been on YouTube for a long time, and he has been Elmering people through YouTube. I don't know if he existed before KE0OG, or even people before that. He's been out there for a really long time.
W5KUB.
W5KUB. Yeah. He's had some health problems now for a couple of years, and he's kind of come out with not just talking about his health problems, but it's not ham radio related. It's kind of a harder video, just from this, experimentation type stuff that might have gone on in the backyards for a lot of people that might have been affected by this. And he believes he was. And that's kind of the point of the video. So that's amazing that Callum's doing something and other people are stepping up to support him going through this.
I just dropped Jim's video itself in the chat.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. All right, so following that, James Hannibal, Quirky URP with the hottest April Fool's joke. I think it's going to be hard to outdo yourself next year, James. But how you been, man?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do next year. I might have to take a year off or something. When Frank shared the link on here, I'm not sure. I don't know. It was kind of fortuitous, but all of a sudden I started getting all these follows from like retro gaming accounts, even more so than I already have been. I've gotten so many people following me that like Twitter has frozen my account. I can't follow more people. Like they've shut me down. I think they think I'm a bot. Mm-hmm. The video has been viewed like 58,000 times now, and people keep sending me direct messages. It's getting a little out of hand. On a different note, though, I'm super stoked about that Boondock Echo. That thing looks so cool. I can't wait to someday get my hands on one.
This is right up your alley, man. This is right up your alley.
It's just, it can do so much. It's like endless. I bet it could probably run Doom, honestly.
Oh,
via
I
transcript.
know it can.
Via AI
Wait for April 1st.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
There's next year. Cat's out of the bag. Shoot.
It'll be an audio version of Doom, though.
Yes, it'll just be the soundtrack and the guy going, "Oh," when he gets shot. Let's see what else. Oh, I'm also the International DX Convention. Looking forward to that. It's my first time going. Don't really know what to expect, but I'm excited.
Dude, I'm super excited you're going. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you're close.
it'll be
You're
fun.
closer than I am, I think. So
Yeah, it's just a couple hours for me.
Yeah, I'll see you there, man. It's gonna be fun.
Have you been before?
No.
Okay, cool. We'll see how it goes.
They're blowing my doors
That's
down
all for
though,
me.
so I got inputs to them. I got to get my talks all lined up and all that fun stuff. So yeah, I'll be emceeing the dinner, banquet, and the breakfast.
Very cool. I'll be there for Saturday, and also your banquet thing is on Saturday night, right?
Yeah, Saturday night.
Okay, cool. We'll see you there.
Indeed.
You guys are in for a blast, I'll just say that. And James, I sincerely apologize for dropping the video. People were requesting it, so they had to see it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you're sorry. No, it's cool. It's hilarious. I hope it keeps rolling, and I get a kick out of the people continuing to comment, even though I've already said April Fools like multiple times in the threads.
But you went so hard that it was real, James. So they all believed you. They all believed it.
I think I finally went too far. Yes,
you
it's
did.
Okay.
No
I
don't
don't
think
got
you
hurt.
went too far. I think that you just you really sold it to people that it was real, and they believed you hook, line, and sinker. They were like, "Oh no, yeah, he made Doom run on the Quan Chang." And you're like, "Oh no, guys, oh no, come on."
I didn't have any reason not to believe them, but
What?
now I'm going to
What?
think twice about James now. Can't trust that guy.
Hey,
It
it's not
doesn't
called
have that
quirky
computing
QRP for no
power.
reason.
I mean, the Quan Chang does not have that computing power. It could never run Doom. There's no way. There's no way.
So I actually had one more thing I was going to do to take it a step further. I have an eGPU that's got a USB-C connector, so I was going to put that like in the photo running next to it, plugged into the USB-C port.
Yes.
But I was like, it's going to take up too much room in the. I should have done it because
You
then
should have.
I could have.
There'd be no question. There'd be no question then. You'd
that
be
would have
golden.
solidified it.
James, Doom 2.0 for next year.
Oh God.
I take it back because they got Doom to run on a pregnancy test. So that's all I'm going to say about that. They used the screen of a pregnancy test to play Doom on. So yes, go look that up.
I've seen that.
It's not running Doom. See, that's the important thing. To assume that the Quan Chang is doing the processing for Doom, which is a very old game, but still, like it doesn't have that processing capability. But yes, they used a pregnancy test screen to play Doom, which is just insane. But
I had people contacting me just to ask how I got the TNC to act as the Bluetooth link for a keyboard to the radio.
Yeah.
Like people were freaking out about that too.
Yep.
It was great.
Yep.
And a lot of people got kind of mad when I said April Fools. Because I think they were really excited about it.
James, I think you might have made some enemies and maybe a lot of friends from that post.
That's
all I'm
okay.
going to say about that.
Nothing wrong with having some more frenemies.
Hayden's Balfang video was a hoot.
Hayden's was really good.
That was great. That was a really good one.
He did that so deadpan.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you didn't know, you wouldn't have known that he was doing April Fool's joke.
When they started cutting to the AI and it was like Trump and whomever, I'm like, okay, come on, guys. Neither one of these people are going to talk about Balfangs. Are you serious?
Did anyone see T.O.'s video for April Fools?
Yeah.
I didn't. What was it?
Oh, Josh, I'll drop you a link.
Okay.
Yeah, and he got a lot of heat for it, apparently.
Oh, he got a ton of heat for it, Don.
Yeah.
Now I want to do something really ridiculous for next year.
What would he get heat for?
You didn't see it?
The fake snake, and I mean, it was a real.
Yeah,
snake.
all of that, all of it. He literally got heat for all of it.
Oh,
did PETA come after him for the snake bit?
No, it wasn't.
No, the sad hams came after him. Here, I'll drop it in the live chat.
So
did you guys notice on Ham Radio DX's on Hayden's thing when he's got that slow scrolling? Who wrote the press release? Did you see the name on the press release?
Yes, I did.
What was it again? Maybe I can't even say it on. Oh wait, we're in Discord. What was it? It was fairly inappropriate.
So
but it
anybody
was so subtle, it was perfect.
Anybody who is paying attention to what was on the screen would be like looking at this going, "Come on, Hayden, come on." good. It was good. It was good. He still did a
really
great
good.
job. And yes, his delivery's spot on. Like he's very good at deadpan. So yeah, very good. Prep Ham Paul is next. How's it going, man? Is he ready? Oh, he's not ready.
I think he left the chat and I didn't notice it. But we do have Tim K0SSD in his spot.
Tim, jump in, man. What's going on with you?
Let's see if my iPad's working.
You're working, man.
Hey, great. Well, I finished putting my hex beam together.
Ooh.
I got it all painted and put together yesterday, and it's sitting on a tripod in my backyard at 5 feet off the ground, and I've already made contacts in Texas and Hawaii. Mm-hmm. On the back side, talking to Hawaii from South Dakota. I did that just a few minutes ago. So I think it's working. And now all I got to do is wait for these 30-mile-an-hour winds to die down so I can get it up in its perch. But other than that, everything's good. And I didn't do a video on how to build it because there's dozens of them. But I painted mine black with 2 red stringers out in front, to show the orientation. It actually looks pretty cool. But my wife's reaction wasn't very good. All she said was, "It's too big." Anyway, that's
Which one did you get?
I have the K4RR, I believe.
NA4RR.
Oh,
yeah,
NA4RR.
Yeah, that's the one I have too.
It came together real nice, and it's sitting in my backyard shaking right now on a 5-foot mast, all guyed up because we got 30-mile-an-hour winds out here. I had to put my vertical down. I walked outside to walk the dog, couldn't believe how that thing was dancing like one of those blow-ups out in front of a dealership. So I had to put it down. Anyway.
Yeah. How'd you like the wire that came with it?
It's great.
Oh, that was something else, man.
I'm really impressed with the quality of the build for the price.
Yes.
$660 delivered. I did buy the extra stringers for ice.
Yeah, I did too.
I live in South Dakota. But other than that, I think it was, I looked at DX Engineering and I like theirs, but wow. And I looked at that one that you guys done videos on from Ham Nation, Camtation.
Yeah.
But $1,600 was more than I wanted to try.
Yeah, me too.
It's almost twice the price. But if worse comes to worse, I could always buy his tower and base if it was ever necessary. Well, other than that, everything's good in South Dakota, gentlemen. So
right on.
Thanks a lot. It's always a pleasure.
The fun thing about a hex beam is that it's kind of like equally wind loaded. So for a lot of people that are looking for gain, a hex beam is a really good starting option because they're not too expensive. You could even build them yourself. There's plans online to be able to do that. I know a number of hams who have done it. And you can get into them relatively inexpensively. And that'll give you about 6 dB of gain. But the good news is that you also don't kill some of that side contacts coming in that you might have missed if you had like a really isolated antenna that wouldn't have been able to get that out because of the front to back ratio and then the side rejection. In a lot of ways, the hex beam is good for that. So yeah, my son just joined me in here, but I have to go to the restroom, and now he's in here.
And of course, if he hasn't already talked enough, we do have Mark from Boondock Echo in here tonight.
Yes,
of course.
Please. Mark, you got anything you want to add from today's shenanigans? I'm glad you're still with us, man.
I am still with you. I would just ask that the people that are buying the Boondock Echoes to slow down. We're going to run out. You hugged us to death.
Well, good.
So yeah, no, it was a great experience. I thank you for the time. I think I'm going to go watch some SNL with the wife, but we're around if you guys have any questions.
Right on. Well, thanks for joining us. As always, that was a really good talk. It was good to hear the pro side of the Boondock. With that said, I do need to run to the restroom. We all need to get up and run out to the restroom. But when I come back, I want to talk about the 1 Pound POTA Pack. If you follow the if you're on my Patreon, then you got my newsletter. But if you listen to the podcast, I talked about the 1 pound POTA Pack. And I want to talk to you all since I got a room of smart hands. I want to talk about a potential challenge, the 1 pack or the 1 pound POTA Pack. That's what I want to do. You're coming with me.
Oh,
You can't
boy.
stay. You can't be live without me in here. So you got to come with me. I'll be right back.
And
You guys talk for a
three
second.
body and the 3 body problem. We can't forget that.
Yeah, I stopped watching it. I got.
Really?
We'll
Okay.
come back to that though. But I will be right back. So you guys talk. Enjoy some memes. I'll be right back.
All right.
Hey, did anybody watch Master? I think it was Masters of the Air on Apple TV. No.
I don't have Apple TV, but I don't.
Oh, the Flying Fortress. Well, I'm sure it'll be out. It was good. You know, it was done by the same people who did, Brothers in Arms, or what was it called? You know, the Pacific. It was very good about the Air Force and their trials and tribulations.
Talking about Band of Brothers and Pacific and all those.
Right. It was the same people produced it. It was done very well. I enjoyed it. It was on Apple TV, but I think we talked about it when it was up and coming, but it's out there now. It was very good.
I watched it all. It was really good. I agree. Although it was kind of a hard watch. There were some tough losses there.
Yeah, it's sad. It's really funny when they all. Well, we can't tell you anyway. It's just an interesting twist come in and out of that thing. But the amazing part is the true story background about it. That I always like that when they actually have the players involved.
Yeah, that documentary that they showed after they released the last one, that was interesting. Kind of filled in a lot of the gaps. So, but no, that's good. I saw the other ones, Band of Brothers and Pacific and Saving Private Ryan and all those. So they're all fun.
Yeah,
they're not fun, but they're really good to kind of give you a feel of maybe what it was like.
True, what these people went through,
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty amazing. I mean, I liked it, but like my wife tells me, she says I'm such a hard guy, but I'll cry at a movie. Sometimes I told her I'm a soft rock. Some areas I'm soft, other areas hard like rock. That just depends on the mood.
That would be one of the reasons I wouldn't want to watch it. I'm retired F-16 crew chief, and not quite sure I want to watch that.
Okay.
What's it called? Black Hawk Down. When I was living in Wyoming, I was running a newspaper about almost 20 years ago. But I went to a party and I met these guys who were in the Air Force. And, oh, my God, they lived it. They didn't really want to talk about it much, but they were there and they lived it. And they told me that the movie didn't do it justice.
Oh, that's scary. That is a harrowing movie. That's still one of my favorite military movies is Black Hawk Down. It's really good.
Range 15 is the best military movie.
Range 15?
Range 15.
Oh, 50. 50?
Oh, 15.
Oh, 15. Okay, I had it right the first time. I'll have to look for that. I like those type of movies. But
it's a cult classic.
Oh, okay.
Danny Trejo is in this.
Yeah, he is.
Is this a good movie? Is this a good movie?
No, it's about a zombie apocalypse with the guys from Ranger Up and
Shatner's in it. So
like Matt Best. I know Matt Best.
Matt Best,
I know that name. Sean. Okay, I know a lot of these people from like YouTube.
Oh no!
Dude, come on, William Shatner. Keith David. So Keith David is a fantastic voice. So yeah.
Okay. You had me going there.
What's my favorite?
It's a funny ass movie. You'll enjoy it.
Okay, everybody think about what your favorite military movie is. We're gonna come back to that, but I've got to have to end here in a little bit because the kids are obviously exploding me because my wife is very busy with work. But I want to talk about something. And I don't know. We're still at the developmental phases on this, but I would like. Well, let me give you my thesis. I think it would be great if we can encourage people when they're doing a POTA or SOTA to try all the all the modes of operation that they can under their power to do so. And then also let's challenge them a little bit, right? Because often what happens is people fall in love with a certain type of motor operation and they're like, that's it for me. I'm a single sideband guy, I'm a digital guy, or I'm a CW guy. And that's kind of what they do. So what if there was some kind of a challenge, which I haven't figured out if there's a winning aspect of this or anything like that. Like right now we're all just kind of spitballing. But what if the challenge is that you did single sideband, CW, and digital, and included that in your POTA activation, one POTA activation, right? So there's the premise. But why not go further? Why not make it like super QRP? We're going into the high side of the solar cycle, so being able to activate a POTA under QRP is not a problem. But what if you did the challenge, so hit those 3 contacts, and then did a full activation, so 10 contacts, right? That's what I'm thinking.
Comment.
Go ahead, comment. Yeah, I love it. Go ahead.
So my understanding is the POTA folks have accepted award nominations when someone goes and does something, and that's why the names are often named after activators. So if you just said, hey, instead of it being get all the bands and that's your N1CC, like, I think you could just propose it's the KI6NAZ or whatever, and like that would be the way they would incorporate it. And if it's an award, people will go for it.
Okay.
Can you imagine a Hosh Nassi award?
I'm not proposing that. That's not what I meant by this. I didn't want to turn this in. I took this as just being a personal challenge. If you want to turn it into a proper POTA challenge, that'd be great. But here's what I cooked up. So this little blue bag here, I'm gonna show you this on the overhead. So I've had a lot of fun with the True SDX, and here's kind of where I need your help, right? Because I don't know of another radio that can do this that's QRP. So I'm gonna show you what 1 pound of radio equipment looks like and what it can do. So I'm gonna slide some of this stuff over here. So I'm gonna make a little space. So that includes the bag, right? This is 1 pound, including my handy little thing. You could like I'm on board with not including the bag weight on this because, you know why. But anyway, so outside pocket is the K6ARK end-fed half-wave with the SMA connector, which you probably know where we're going radio-wise with this, right? And then inside, I'll just spoiler alert if you didn't already know where this is going. It's the True SDX. So the True SDX does 1 cable USB digital modes, and it does CW, and it does single sideband. I don't know of another radio that does this, but with that said, for everybody watching, if you know of a radio that can do 2 of those things, we can probably pick up digital by keying off of the audio interface. So I'm willing to hear from you on that. And to that kit, right, so we pared all this down. So I've got the K6ARK microphone for doing single sideband. I took this into a park recently, and I was able to do a POTA chase to Oregon, right? So he gave me a 5.7, which is pretty crazy. I threw an extra battery in there, which is a 3S LiPo. That's an extra cable for the microphone. I think that's it out of there. And then in one of the pouches here, right, I have a Skull Candy earbuds. I have a power connector, which you don't really need, but the Jankopotamus, by the way, what a value. The Jankopotamus connector for charging is the same connector as the True SDX. So if you didn't know that, big value.
I can't wait for the QMX to come out with the firmware update. Then I'll be, jazzed about that.
Yeah, so that's that pocket. I threw in a Write in the Rain pen because there is a tablet inside here, which I'm not including the tablet or the pen in the pack weight. You could if you want to, but I'm not because I'm just including the radio equipment. And I have a dongle for doing power over power delivery. So this is a 10-volt power delivery cable. A on-the-go USB cable for my Android tablet. So this is how I do FT8 if I'm going to do digital, which we saw in the last live stream. There's the USB-C cable if I need that. And then the N6 ARA key, which I'm actually adding more weight. I could just strip this. Actually, I'm going to strip this down. So this one cable will do the N6 ARA key and the K6 ARK microphone. So I don't need this other Amazon Basics key. And in fact, this is like way heavier. Like in my hands, this is twice the weight of just this. So even with the key there. So I'm probably going to ditch that. But yeah, so I this is 1 pound of radio gear. Like if you weighed this all out, even with the antenna and the headphones, 1 pound. So could you POTA on this? Probably. You could probably POTA on this. And then could you also do one contact from each mode of operation? CW, just one CW, and just one single sideband. And then you could do all the rest on digital or whatever your favorite mode of communication was. You could do that. So that's the concept behind this, is the 1 pound POTA challenge. Soda, just as well. Why not do this with soda? But yeah, you could do anything right now with the high side of the solar cycle. You can go nuts. And I think that's kind of where I'm aiming with this because, yeah, kind of the sky's the limit, I think, if you think about it. The problem I have is the True SDX is it's the only radio I know that does all the three things. Or is there any other highly lightweight QRP radio that does all the things?
I think my FX4CR can do that.
But it's not under 1 pound.
Again, I say we can't wait for the QMX to make its firmware debut so we can do SSB.
Yeah, the QMX could do it. That's a good point. But I mean, just think for the new ham that asks you, I want to get started in ham radio, and I got like $200. There you go. This is the whole thing right there. $200. Like literally, you could probably do all this in $200. That's great. Like that's super cool.
I mean, how easy is it to get a hold of the key and the mic that you've got? Because I don't think Adam has many of those.
What a great question, Don.
Yeah.
So I bought that mic.
Yeah.
This mic I bought. this mic, this one that's completely invisible right now on the camera. I bought all the parts that he links. I bought all the parts. I didn't buy his kit. That kit is fully scrap built from me.
Right. Tell me how much that 3D printer cost that you used to print that.
The Bamboo is
exactly
$600, $700. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for a new ham, they're going to put $600 or $700 into it.
Just glue them onto the side of a cutting board.
There you go.
I'm just thinking outside the box. By the way,
I mean, you could use a tongue depressor for all I'm concerned and put the electrolytic components on there. That's fine.
Mike knows.
And then heat shrink it. So you literally take a popsicle stick, hot glue the components on the side of it, and then heat shrink it, and you're good.
Okay.
You could, right?
Fair enough. Yeah.
Adam's mic kit is on Amazon right now.
Is it really? Oh, that's done.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's done. There's no way. Is it really?
Adam's gonna wake up to an out of stock order.
Okay, hold on. We gotta see this live. Here we go. Okay, we're gonna go to buy it on Amazon.
You want me to send you a link?
There's a good question in the chat.
It's not
Shouldn't you
available.
include the tablet and laptop in that way, or are those excluded? And I was going to ask, what about a poll?
So I'm not including the computing body in this. I'm including all of the RF parts. So I went with the on-the-go connector for a tablet, but if you want to include a Genkopotamus, I think that should not be included in the weight. Personally.
Yeah, but Frank's right. The mast is part of it. Or are you including a mast? You're going
No,
with a
because you
tree
can throw that
instead.
over a tree. So from my point of view, if you want to bring a mast, like a telescoping mast, that's fine. Not included weight.
So
Because
the
you
water
can throw it over a
bottle,
tree.
the water bottle, and the paracord too.
No, okay.
Well, now
we got to
Don,
cut the
we're-
line somewhere. We got to stop the division
I'm just
somewhere.
asking where it is.
No, this is it.
Don,
This is
Don,
this is it. This is the line. I included it. So if you want to add a telescoping mast, if you want to add your own laptop, that's fine. No problem there. I'm saying the RF componentry, all that stuff that goes into the RF, that's included in the kit. Getting your antenna up could be a treat. Go ahead, Frank. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was being funny with the telescoping mask, but someone else did ask about the laptop or tablet. And Don, yeah, at this point we're just arguing semantics. Josh is strictly
True,
talking
I know. I'm
just RF. So yeah, okay. I can see the point of view of using the true SDX.
Well, tell me something that would fit the bill that's low weight. By the way, the FX3CR would be great for this. Like that would totally fit the bill. Totally fit the bill.
I have a comment there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, hey Josh, this is Heath. It's funny as you think about that. I've been thinking about it for this summer because we're going to do a couple backpacking trips. And last year, I had to leave my 705 at home because the kit was 4 pounds as opposed to 1. So I'm building a QMX and going to do 2 of those, CW and that. And the other thing on the weight too is for digital, I was going to use my phone with FT8CN. And I usually carry my phone anyways when I'm backpacking, and also extra paracord and line like that usually to put in my tarp and things like that. So a lot of the weight for the extra things are already being used for something that I'm going to carry anyways.
Come on, Heath, just take the Hermes Light.
I have taken the Hermes Light backpacking. I have taken a backpacking.
What's wrong with all these people 6 pound?
6 pound.
What's a pound thingy? What happened to people's stamina? I set myself a challenge 2 years ago, and I couldn't do it because of COVID.
Yeah.
But I bought the stuff. I'm taking a 26 valve radio on a SOTA.
Hell yeah.
I paid £100 for the special adapter for my 1965 Kenwood my KW2000A.
Yeah.
Right. Unfortunately, I'm dead in the water at the moment because it needs a special cable, and I can't find the plugs.
So
it uses really old Amphenol plugs that just aren't available anymore.
So there's some method to my madness. There was a name that was associated with this, which was the Hip Pack Portable HF Station. That was another name that we were playing around with. So the idea behind this is, how can I cram the most amount of functionality into the smallest platform possible? And right now, I think it's the True SDX. Now, I am mitigating its downsides via using earbuds because the speaker's not great, and using an external microphone to talk into. Those are some of the downsides. On single sideband, I think it sounds fantastic on single sideband when you use earbuds, personally. Now, on CW, also not fantastic, but it's workable, right? So here's my whole method to the madness here. I think that it's not difficult to activate on CW, or to have a couple of contacts on CW during an activation. Maybe not your entire activation, right? Not 10 contacts, but it's doable. And if the radio has the digital on one cable, which this does, and it has single sideband, which this does, and the CW is kind of like not great, you could still cram out a couple of contacts just to get it done, and then you could have the 3 contacts, and then you can activate on whatever you prefer. If it was single sideband, if you're doing good on that, keep going. If you're doing digital, by the way, I'm also going to use the Android FT8 app. Then, keep going with that. There's no reason to not do that. But I just thought this is kind of an interesting idea of how much actual functionality can you cram into a hip bag, and then This bag can go into any backpack, anything. Like if you weren't going to take a radio, you can just throw this bag into the backpack. I bet you can find space for it. Like it's not hard to be able to make this fit easily.
Yeah.
So I think.
Yeah, hit me with the hard comments. Let's go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say is I don't know that the Hermes Lite is that much heavier than the True SDX.
Heath just said that the Hermes Lite pack kit was about 2.5 pounds without the computer.
Yeah, that was with the battery and a antenna and the Hermes Lite, and what else did I have in there? Oh, various cables and things like that. So, yeah, I could probably get that down. I was going to look at using a Pi Zero 2. I need to figure out how to control it. So you still have to
so
take
you're 2 pounds with the computer, then, right?
No, it ended up being 4 with a computer. By the time I had my tablet, things like that with it.
Yeah, because I've taken mine on POTA before, but and I don't remember it weighing much of anything. And if you're using the built-in microphone on the laptop, you don't even have to take a mic anymore.
Well, so there you go. I mean, I don't know how to get. You could get the Hermes Lite down to 1 pound if you took the case off of it, and there you go. You got all 3 things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
By my argument, because so again, like if the RF comes out of the antenna or into the antenna, and you have a microphone, a power supply, and the radio, and it all fits into 1 pound, there you go. That's it. You fit the mark. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, because it basically the key goes in the front, so it's the same. But then you take the Jankopotamus, as I recall, does have a microphone. I don't remember if it does or not, but
yeah, and I included the
a lot of them.
accessory cables, which technically, you don't have to, but if you want to do all 3 things, digital, CW, and single sideband, you've got to have the interfaces for it. So I just included it in there.
Well,
proof of
the
concept,
Hermes
it's all under 1 pound.
Yeah, the Hermes is a single Ethernet cable, so you don't need USB and all of that.
Sure. But I mean, you hear where I'm going with this, right? Like, is this interesting? Is this is this cool?
No, and I probably would do it with my True SDX. I've got one of those too. They are fun to play with.
No, but I mean, is this a cool concept? Would people be interested in this? I don't know. I'm thinking about making a video like doing it first before actually telling people like go try this, because again, it's not this isn't like, obviously this is not going to be a high scoring POTA activation, but I think you can do it. I think you can, and I think it's a fun idea of like, so again, $200 all in with all this stuff, and most of the stuff you probably have on hand, like an aux cable, sure, reuse that. Earbuds, you have that. It's fine. Your Delta Airlines earbuds that you kept because you didn't give them back. True SDX is like $140 shipped, pre-assembled. The K6ARK kit for the end fed is, we could look it up. The mic kit, if you want to do that, the N6ARA, we're probably dipping over 200 at this point. It's probably under 250. And then the 3S lipos, but you can go with different batteries if you want. You could even use your power brick if you wanted to, but it's got to fit in there somewhere if you're using PD or whatever. All things to consider, right? But I thought it was kind of an interesting little challenge, an idea to give people something interesting to do if they're, were looking for getting started, but they didn't want to drop a bunch of money. The True SDX is like, I think it's a good option. I really do.
Comment?
Yeah.
Go ahead, comment.
I was curious, the people that have True SDXs, if they've used the PTT to key before, and if that's sort of like the internal speaker that's a backup emergency use case, or if it's actually a usable option.
I have used the PTT for key, like for CW, and for using the mic that's on board. The mic that Adam includes in his mic kit is much better, much better than what comes in the True SDX kit. But it works.
And even DL2 MAN says that he added those on, but he doesn't. They're not a good quality.
Yeah.
So
yeah, he admits that.
Do they work? Yeah, they kind of work, but yeah, they're not good.
A comment.
Good comment.
The microphone from the G1M, if you could find one, fits that as well. Bit big, but it's very small, as in your hand. But it actually does work with that little radio as well. We checked it on Rob's.
So I will say
$16
because Matt K7 UAP is in the chat and Mike is talking. Matt sent me one of his doublets. I got a really good tripod to officially be able to set that up portable, and we're taking it out for the camp out. So we're going to be on the air with the doublet, particularly on the lower bands. I'm very excited to get this on the air, a proper doublet. I'm very excited. So, tune in for that because it'll be a topic of discussion for sure.
Matt is very good with his doublets. I will say that.
Yeah, so I'm very excited. So I have a 4-to-1 unun. Do I need more than my radio's tuner for the doublet? I do, right? I need to bring a separate tuner. Particularly for
you
low
got
bands.
a Z matchup you of some sort.
For the low bands though, in particular. So
sorry.
Oh, Matt, we hear you kinda.
He was very robotic.
Yeah, he was.
Hello, can you hear me?
There you go.
We do now, yeah.
Okay, I was just saying, yeah, you need a 4-to-1 Ballon.
I got that. We're good.
Okay, perfect. That's all you need. And then just about a short, like 2 foot length, the coax to your tuner.
Okay, so the tuner's the question. How strong of a tuner do I need? Is the radio tuner enough? It's not, right?
No.
Okay. Thank you for your honesty. All right, so I'll make sure that I have an appropriate tuner for at least 100 watts. But
I recommend a manual tuner of some sort, but if you only have an auto tuner, it'll be fine.
Okay. This might have to be a QRP job because I got the AH7, and I know the AH7 will pretty much tune anything. And it will do wire antennas, which a lot of other portable QRP radios won't do, or tuners.
But the AH7 will be fine.
Yeah, okay, got it. All right. Well, we're all set then.
I'm curious about, I found like some little ATU 100 on Amazon. It's made by the same people who do the True SDX, the Malahit. Has anybody used those? Are they any good as a tuner?
Link it. Drop the link.
Yeah.
The ATU 100, the one you build.
It's there. Yeah, the ATU 100.
It can be a bit hit and miss.
Yeah, it can. And I use the ATU M100, which is a completely different style, and it works a lot better.
Does it have
about
a case?
the same price.
Does it have a case, or just like you're gonna raw dog the tuner here? What? That doesn't seem fun.
And that's the one you build yourself.
Mm-hmm.
For $35, like I guess. So by the way, you could probably 3D print a print.
That has
case,
batteries.
Right? I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like there's some printed cases on printables.
Go ahead, comment.
There are versions of those that actually are fully built and have batteries as well.
Okay. Do they have a case?
Yeah, they have a case as well. If you just look up ATU 100, you should find it pretty easily.
So, Josh, I'm curious. You went to weight. Is there a reason, not volume?
Volume, like in liters? What are you talking about?
Well, yeah, because you just said like hit pack, and I'm like, well, usually when I think about space constraint, I'm talking about can I get it in my like luggage to fly? So I'm more space conscious than I am weight conscious.
Sure.
Yeah, carry on.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't know because okay. How do I answer this?
Apache Case 2800.
I think that okay. So I'm a bit of a weight weenie. I think everybody, if you didn't know this, when it comes to hiking, I'm a big advocate of like stripping everything down and just carrying the bare minimum. And it's mainly because of my knees and the life that I put upon them. So weight is a factor. Liters is not the thing. It's not that I have a 60-liter backpack. It's not about how much I can carry. It's about what the weight is. Like that's an important factor. Also, 1 pound POTA Pack sounds really good. So that was also part of it because I think and so hear me out. I know that you can do this with the KX2 and the 705 and a numerous other amount of radios, but those are all bigger, right? In comparison, we don't really have like that multi-mode capable radio in the smaller space. They're all these like $1,200 radios and up, right? So the idea is this is both inexpensive, being the True SDX at like $135 to get started, and then the accessories, which they don't really put you out more than $100, right? I don't know. It kind of made sense at that point, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Paul, continue. Go ahead. Dive more in.
Well, so the reason I was just sort of amused to sit there and think about, like, can you stick it in a 1-quart plastic bag? I mean, the TSA sort of a just it's a slightly different constraint. I take your point, like that. I totally get it, especially if you're hiking, like that makes sense.
Sure. I guess it's like how low can you go? Right, that's kind of where we're going with this. It's like how low, how lightweight could we make a fully functioning radio kit, right? That's always been my goal. Is like how small can I take a full featured radio kit, pack it into a bag, and make it actually usable. And this is the first iteration of it, really, with the new firmware and all that stuff, where it's actually like not bad to use and recommend. Like I could say, oh yeah, there's a numerous things that will do something like this that are pretty good, but it's going to be so niched in that like no one's going to touch it. Or it's at the point where it's like, okay, well, if you're really an enthusiast, you already kind of knew about it and it's not that big a deal. But with this, the True SDX, I gotta say, like, it doesn't hurt anybody's head to say like, oh, it's $300 and I have like a fully functioning HF radio with an end-fed half-wave antenna. That's not bad at all. Like that's great, right? I guess, like, I don't know. Am I wrong?
You're trying to come up with the Baofeng for HF radio.
You got it, Heath. You got it. You figured it out. I mean, that's one of the things for sure that I want to hit upon because that's kind of what this is. It's the Baofeng of HF. It really is, if you get down to it.
Yeah, there's some challenge. You see a lot of knockoff of the USDX and those ones on Amazon and stuff, and they just replace parts and they just don't work right. So, yeah, you got to stick with a proven design like the True SDX with the proper components. So,
and you have to buy it from the right people too.
Well, DL2MAN is pretty dogged about he on his website he says where to buy, and you buy from that website and you get a good radio on the other side. I've never, anytime I bought from him, it's been fine. Oh, well, not from him, but you know what I mean, like from the links he's provided.
Well, it's like the early days of the Nano VNA, and I'm sorry I still don't buy it Nano VNAs for that reason.
Yep.
There were so many of them that were bad in the early days, and you did not know from one buy to the next whether you're going to get one that worked.
So anyway, that's kind of the idea where I'm going with this. I'm going to actually activate a POTA. I'll make a video with the 1 pound POTA challenge where I'm going to use all this equipment. I gotta say the part that gave me the most like vigor in all of this is that I chased a POTA in Oregon. So Southern California, that's kind of like Georgia to Vermont, kind of, almost. No, not Vermont, probably lower than that. New York-ish area. And I got a 5.7 on single sideband with this radio. So that's pretty crazy from my point of view. I was just in a local park. I had my little push-up mast and I shoved it in a tree. And on that radio, you can go watch my Instagram talking about it. I was like, oh, this is like, it's great. Like it works fantastically. And it's cheap. It's really cheap. And now with the high solar cycle, I think it's going to encourage people to not just get into HF outside of technician, but then like get on the air because it's actually kind of usable. Surprisingly so.
Unbelievable comment.
Go ahead.
I tried to get it on video and failed, so it's there's no proof. But I did. I got an SSB contact to Italy last night on a ham stick stuck on top of my minivan. I really wish I had got it on video because you can't prove it otherwise, other than my log. But it was wild. It was wild. I did get.
What did hams do before video? We just had to trust them and their logs. If they confirm, then it's confirmed, right?
No.
Yeah, I'll check to see if he's confirmed it.
Yeah.
One thing on the True SDX is it doesn't cover 10 meters, right? So technicians can't use it except CW.
Does it not include 10 meters?
80, 60, 40, 30, 20. That's what's on the website.
Oh, that's the high side. That's the high banded. You can get the low banded one.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because I did that with a QDX, but I never did it with a True SDX.
Yeah, so what's cool about that, actually, this is a K6 ARK video that's worth mentioning. So it's a sandwich design. It's two PCBs that are sandwiched together, and the lower portion is the toroids and the different setup for different bands. So you could have two band plates, if you will, and socket them together. And he actually has a 3D printed model for a case that will separate at those band spots. And so you could have a high banded True SDX plate that you slap onto the body, the top part, and you get those higher bands versus the vice versa.
This is wild. I literally just finished printing that modular case.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I could turn my video on and prove that one for sure. It's wild. It worked on the first print. Clicks together, holds together pretty nicely. It's a great print.
Yeah, it'd be great if he was here because I know that against Adam because he is both a big enthusiast of the True SDX, but he's also very critical of the True SDX. So I would like to hear his ideas, but I'm pretty confident that like. Yeah, I'm gonna go to a POTA. I'm gonna actually get it on the air. Don't expect it this week or next week, but I'm gonna get it on the air. See if I can do it. Do the 1 pound POTA challenge, and then I will report back. But I'm kind of. I think it's a good idea. From my point of view. I don't know.
Can I get your thoughts on something when you're ready to change subjects?
I'm ready to change subjects because I got to wrap up here, and the kids are.
Okay, I just dropped something in chat, a link. It's called a quantum SDR. Now, it's, as far as I know, it's not an SDR. What it actually is a spectrum display, and what they're pitching it for is a screen for the G90, and it's much larger than the screen of the G90. This is not a GSOC.
It's not a GSOC, Don?
It's a completely different rebuild of something that this guy imagined.
Okay.
And he's selling them now. And from everything I'm reading, it looks really neat, the kind of thing that you'd almost want the GSOC to be, but it is not really an add-on to the radio per se. And I believe they've made it work on other radios besides the G90. But it's basically just a display.
Okay.
So it just kind of looks neat, and
it does look.
To me, it looks neat. I just don't know. I mean, I like for other people to look at it and see what they think. I found or stumbled across it on Facebook.
So what? I mean, other than the screen, is that's it, right? It doesn't do any processing or anything like that.
No, but it is touchscreen. You can like use a pointer and scroll back and forth, and it will change the frequency on the radio as well as changing so you can tune with it, and that kind of thing. And I believe, from what I understand, you can change modes and do all of that from the screen as well. But yeah, you're not going to get sound out of it, all of that kind of stuff. It's not meant for that.
I guess it's going to come down to how much does it cost.
Yeah. I can't remember. I've seen it.
This guy's
$250.
This guy's website is crazy. This guy is wild. What am I looking to? Like, what am I? Oh my god, that can't be right.
He's got different versions as well.
Okay, I want the pre-built. $226 for a screen.
Well, the M3 is $350. But hell, I paid $550 for the G-Sock.
Yeah, but I mean, the G-Sock had promises of being like a computing body, like a proper thing that would do some of the heavy lifting. That's how you got like an extra band out of the G90 and a bunch of other stuff.
I don't believe it ever delivered the extra band.
No, it did not. It did not.
And I never believed that would happen, because that has to happen inside the radio.
You'd think so, but they said that. They said it, right?
No, I think people said it. I don't think they ever did, but I don't remember that far back.
Okay,
sorry.
maybe I'm wrong. I apologize if I'm wrong. I apologize on the accolades of the G-Sock.
Well, there was a lot of hype about the thing before it came out, and I stupidly bought one right as they.
I did too.
Right as they hit the market, and it's like, oh god. I still have mine, by the way.
I do too. Maybe I'll drag it out for a 5-year commemoration of the G-Sock. Are we there yet? Are we at 5 years? It feels like we're close.
Yeah, we're getting close. And by the way, the 6200. Oh my gosh, that thing is stupid. I mean, who would pay $1,000 for that thing?
Is it out right now?
No, but they've announced pricing on it, about $1,079.
I know who's going to buy it.
That's at that one store, though. I think that's dodgy, Don.
I think it's going to come out close to that, Mike, and that's way too much.
I'm inclined to believe with Don.
When the 6100 came out, they released it and said it was going to be 1,000 as well. So I'm a bit odd. It's the same place in Europe. They're a bit wibbly.
Well, I personally don't see the point. Why not? This is the thing I've got with Zygu. Even with the G90 now, they stop development. The minute they hit something new, they stop development on everything else, and they just kind of let them sit there. Mm-hmm. I mean, when the G90 came out, the 5105, oh well, we're kind of done with that. And if you want to buy it, here it is. And now the G90, when the 6100 came out, did we really get that many more firmware things that did anything other than fix it? No. And so now we have a 6100 that should be getting fixed, and it's not. Now they're going to a 6200. I'm kind of done with Zygu.
I have to agree with Don here on this one. According to pileupdx.com, it's in USDs, it's about just over $1,000, 929 euros or $1,000.
We don't know officially yet.
Yeah,
it's not on the website.
Mike could be right about that, because there were people that were printing prices, but even then, like I said, I don't see the point of. I just don't like what Zygu's doing, which is they release something new and they abandon the old stuff and yet still sell it. And
well, I know Tio's going to buy one. I know one person that will buy one.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, I'm not going to follow along this time. It's just like
I don't think I would love to review one. If anybody wants to reach out from Shagu and let me take a look, I would love to take a look at it, because I mean. There's nothing wrong with competition in this space. We love that. But
competition, but don't abandon.
Jody, that's Don. Yeah, I agree with you. So Jody, I think you're probably, I could see $800. Yeah.
Mhm. But I mean, yeah, they've added all the features to it or they're announcing the features to it that were supposedly in the 6100. And the 6100 to me had a lot of features in it that they announced in the GSOC. And they keep trying to get to those features, and instead of like taking one of their designs and trying to make it work, they keep releasing new hardware and new hardware and new hardware, and they don't fix the old stuff.
I think the Discord bot died because I'm not seeing the Discord chat over on the.
It did, yeah.
Unfortunately, because I was going to tag Jody's post. I think Jody's pretty much accurate that $800. $800 for an HF radio that does all that stuff seems like the price point, but I would not be surprised if it came in at 1,000. Oh, wait. Jody's dropping some hot links here. So let's see. Oh, do I have another option? I don't want to accept. Is that legit? Is that what it looks like? Oh,
yes,
buddy. It's all plastic.
And there were people that were like, "Oh, this looks really good."
It looks like a radio that came out of like the Alien movies in the 90s.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it looks like. Right?
I think it was designed by AI.
They're kind of
if an AI radio is.
Bear in mind that's also got VAT on it.
Yeah, they're kind of putting the rails on it so you don't have to add them later, which okay, but
sure, I'm down.
They took they took the radio design from Full Quiet.
Yeah, it's a full quiet radio. Okay, so all right. So I see two USB-C cables and a cat. Oh, the mic cable is I don't like that. I will say I'm a big advocate of just being tip ring sleeve or tip ring sleeve for a mic and not having it to be some telephone cable BS connector. I don't see a reason for that.
Well, it's the same one as the ICOM, isn't it?
And
I don't see a reason for that either. I'm a big advocate. Let's just go with the single pin. Boop, done. Get on.
I don't like the display either. I mean, or the interface. The R1 CBU or BCU software is so much better looking than that.
Oh, look at the down the barrel here. So you got dev, host, mic, ACC key, and speaker. Okay. All right. I see what. Okay. I see you. Shegu. I see what you're doing.
Yeah, charging for features that should have been in the 6100 in the first place.
Has anybody heard about the FT8 functionality that they're advertising?
No. And
Radio Oddity got a video on it.
That does have a removable battery, and that's worth a couple dB
yeah, but what
right
kind
there
of
alone.
battery is it? Is it like what kind of battery is removable? Like it's its own little brick that you can buy more of?
Yeah, it's a battery pack that you can pop out of the back.
Cool. I like that.
But yeah, that's okay, except that I want 10 watts out of it, and so I virtually never use the internal.
Is it 5 watts? It is.
Yeah,
right?
and then it's 5 watts on the internal, and then
so it's actually I think in the specs that they put out, it was at about 8 watts on external battery.
How many people we have watching right now? I'm going to drop a poll right now. Oh, wow. Okay. So let's do this. I'm going to drop a poll. Can I? Hello? Okay.
And those pictures are probably the engineering prototype pictures still. I don't know if Radio Oddity has updated their page yet.
I posted a video of the videos that somebody else had posted of some behind the scenes snuck out cell phone footage of it, and honest to me, it to me it doesn't look good at all. It looks like it's just a rebranded 6100 with some minor modifications to it.
Okay, so I'm dropping a poll. Would you buy the X6200 at $800? Here we go. Here's the poll. Drop the poll right now. We're gonna do this again at 1,000, I guess. This highly technical polling group we have. Oh no, the nose came out fast. Oh, they're dropping down. The yeses are in there. We're at the $800 mark. We haven't got to 1,000 yet. So,
And Jody just posted something in the Discord chat that is kind of discerning.
I'm gonna look that up right now. Nope, not yet. Yeah, my children are bothering me to go play. We have to spread democracy for Super Earth, everybody. Very important. All right.
Is it?
Have a cup of liberty.
Yeah.
Watch the trailer for the beginning of that and laugh me socks off.
It's so good. If you are a fan of Paul Vanhover, okay, the guy who made Starship Troopers, RoboCop, Total Recall, and Dirty Dancing, Paul Verhoeven, got it. This video game is that movie's. Like he is. Oh, it's so good. Helldivers is so much fun, and my kids love it. And it's not an aggressive PvP game. Everybody's collaborative, like working together, and so they're not just like hating on each other. So even my 8-year-old can kind of play because nobody's really talking any kind of crap, and I turn most of that stuff off. And they're kind of all just collaboratively working together to fight bugs or the automatons. It's a really fun game. It's really fun.
Man, this poll's really telling. 39 votes and 90% say no.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they ran into a problem where if they want to fix bugs, but if inflation has adjusted the price enough that they basically would need to raise the price in order to keep selling the 6100, and therefore if like the product decision is to rev it to a 6200, even if it would have just made sense to continue the development on the prior product.
And the guts didn't change, really? That's a fantastic point, Paul. That's a really good point. Yeah, because
like I can see them sitting there and just saying, yeah, no, like no one's going to accept a $200 price point increase on the same radio.
So we got to rev it like with an aesthetics update. That's kind of what this feels like. It's like a UI update with a case update. And that's cheap in the long run. That's an interesting point that you bring up.
I'm going to make a hot take here. Isn't that what Kenwood basically did with D75?
Oh, you've wounded me. You've wounded me. Where is my Kenwood? It's never far away from any conversation. Oh, there it is. We'll just put it right there. Stay there.
I will point out. I didn't say this as if this was them making something up. Like, I think radios fundamentally have had a math problem.
You're not wrong. I don't think you're wrong. I think you're right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. I've got to wrap up here, I think. I'm going to go. I don't know what the hell is going on, but. Oh, what? My SWR was through the roof. Wait. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. Hold on. We're gonna see this live here. Wait. There
Gotta
it is.
fix the SWRs.
Watch above my head. Watch above my head. We got a problem? We got a problem. Halt.
Press the button, Max.
Okay. Oh, it didn't tune. Oh, it didn't tune off at 20. Oh my God! I've been putting full power into my Step IR because I thought it was auto tracking to 40 meters, and it wasn't. And I've been making contacts this whole time. I was wondering why. I was like, oh, it's kind of light. What's going on there, guys? I hope I didn't damage my antenna. Watch as my noise floor climbs through the roof. California Edison has not replied to me with my appointment yet, and I called them again to say, hey, you reached out. I still am desiring the reaching. Please reach back and let me know when. Look at the noise floor. Look at the noise floor, dude.
Yeah, take care of it the way I did. Move.
Yeah, always a good idea. Oh, always an option. Always an option. All right, so we're okay. Everybody, watch this. Here you go. I'm gonna transmit now. Watch my my plot here. 40 meters. Let's see how 40 meters is doing tonight.
Gotta fix the Swizzers and then go fix democracy, right?
I gotta at least get one kid fixing democracy. I don't need to necessarily do it, but he is 8 years old, and I was like, "There's no way he's gonna be calling in stratagems and all that stuff where you have to do like up, down, blah 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 blah." And once I showed him like, "Oh no, you got to click this thing, you got to hold it down." And that's how you do, like, that's how you drop in. He's like, I'm like, son, you want the auto cannon or the grenade launcher. You don't need to mess around with that, all the other stuff. Just down, just call that in from the ship. And he's like, okay, Dad. Okay, Father. That's what I'll do. And he was like, and he's running with it. I'm like, okay, you're good. There you go, young child. Protect democracy for super.
You just got
Cape installed, is it? Sorry, Don.
Yeah, I was just calling Josh. You got 5 gifted subs.
5 gifted subs on Twitter? Oh, just because I mentioned Helldivers?
On YouTube.
YouTube.
I'm kidding. Thank you, man. Where did I miss it? Oh, there it is. From Michael. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. So who got it? Devin, Tracy, Bryant, Gary, and Clayton. Well, thanks for joining us out here. I appreciate that. Thanks so much. I hope you stick around. And Michael, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. Okay. Dawn, I don't know. Let's 3 body problem. Where are you at in the show?
I'm on episode. I just went to episode 7, just after they make the announcement of what the sick dude, what they're going to do to the sick dude.
Oh, okay. So I'm not there yet. Okay, so you're further along than me.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, you're further along. I kind of stopped watching it because I think my wife got kind of pulled out of it because it kind of turned it into like nerd gamer stuff. And I'm like, no, keep watching. Oh. It's good.
Yeah, the thing that was getting me is that I keep seeing these things where it's, oh man, this is turning into a relationship movie, and then they flip it like they did in this last episode, and I'm like, oh okay, I see where they're going with this. I completely misread it. So if you're watching things and you start seeing something that you don't like, just kind of hang on, because they do flip it, or at least they have for me.
All right, so polling is all screwed up for me. I can only see the nose. Oh, there it is. Wow, even at $800, no one is willing to buy the 6200. I have a feeling that they're not banking. Actually, I'm not surprised that their market share wouldn't look like that on QRP. Most people just aren't buying QRP radios.
Mm-mm.
But if we added like multiple questions upon questions upon questions, is it that bad of a QRP radio? Probably not. Oh, he's literally pushing me right now. Okay. So let me end the poll. I'll end the poll. Stop. Okay. Here we go. We ended the poll. And yeah, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good results, I think. I don't know. I don't have much to add to that other than like I'll wait to see it come out. I would like to play with it and put it on the air and see how it goes.
Well, it's still early in the election season, and Zygu could pull in more voters. We just don't know.
I like that, Don. The mail-in voters have not voted yet, right, Don?
Exactly.
Yeah. I will tell you, the best time you can spend on a show right now, particularly if you like anything historically accurate kind of stuff, Shogun. Still really good. I've really been liking Shogun. Shogun is the Game of Thrones if it was feudal Japan. So all you closeted weeaboos, this is the time to get out there and enjoy a show. It's very good.
But it's a remake. It's okay.
It is. Yeah, it is. Thank you, Don, by the way. I didn't know that. It wasn't until you said that in the last show that I learned that.
Well, I just remember watching it in years ago, and the one that was years ago was just revolutionary, so to speak, and just really good, at least in my opinion. So if this one's anything like that, yeah, I'm sure it is, or that it is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the videos.
And it's based on a book, by the way.
Let's see. Anything else I need to mention?
Yeah, the book is pretty good. I would suggest the book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both my parents had read the book.
It's Jagger. I just watched the original. It's from 1980, and it still holds up. Richard Chamberlain is amazing, but what's great is Toshiro Mifune is in there, and if you know Japanese theater, you know Toshiro Mifune, and that guy is worth it right there.
I will say all the characters are. Please just go watch it. Just go watch it. Try it. Try it out. Try it out for size.
If I had Apple TV.
The actor who plays the titular competitor for the role of Shogun is one of my favorite Japanese actors. Like when he was in The Last Samurai, I loved his character. I absolutely loved him. He's one of my favorite Japanese actors at this point. I can't remember his name. I feel really bad.
Is Foundation and Empire dead? I mean, did they kill it?
I don't know, but I haven't watched that in a while.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's only run the one season as far as I know, and I don't know if they were going to do a second season or not. I mean, the book on that one is just amazing.
This is Asimov?
Yes.
Yeah.
They did a limited series on Apple TV, but they were going to run multiple seasons because they just barely got through into the second book, I think.
Foundation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say
Foundation and Empire and the second Foundation. So
I seem to recall there being quite a few books.
Yes, there are. I think there's 6 or 9. I don't remember for sure, but yeah, it's kind of like Dune in the fact that like everybody does, or at least with Dune, they've done the first book or 2 books out of it, but. Yeah, Foundation would be just as epic if they were to do the whole series.
All right, I gotta head out of here. We're obviously at the point of no return with the children. They all want to either go watch a movie.
Diver.
So we're gonna go watch I think Deep Impact, and I think this one's gonna play Helldivers probably for a little while. But we're gonna wrap up here.
Josh, we got a comment.
Okay, we got
Helldiver's pretty inexpensive too.
Yeah, it's a great game for the price. There was
$20.
a comment. Go ahead, comment.
Yeah, I'm sitting here making a QDX high bander while watching, and the comment that I wanted to make was about the POTA idea.
Yeah,
and just use what you got. The challenge for me is to go out and do. It's not see how small you can make it or whatever, but that's cool too. But go do something. And the challenge for me would be the CW because I don't know it yet. So here we go.
So the challenge is based off of the concept of cramming the most features and functionality that you can in the smallest footprint possible. That's the point, right? So I love the QDX. It still rolls around with me in many bags. Like I take it with me all the time. Love the QDX. QMX, great. I want to see that firmware update. But right now we have a radio that's $135 assembled that does all that stuff on one single cable for digital, which is like, hell yeah, let's go. That's awesome. I love that. I like the idea of like, how small can you make it? how like unobtrusive in your like everyday life you can make it and still carry it every day, everywhere you go. That's what's kind of cool to me. I appreciate that that's not like everybody's, interest, but don't, please don't. You're good. Because it's he's like trying to pull the solder wick out of my solder catch thing. I'm like over the top of my keyboard. I'm like, please don't do that. There's
Yeah, I love the concept, Josh. I just love the concept.
Put it back. Put it back all the way. Put it back. Put it back. Can solder kill me? Can solder kill you? No, solder can't kill you. All right. Everybody on the Discord, we gotta head out. I gotta go. He won't stop.
Have fun, Josh.
Divers is very good, and I want to go play. Bye-bye.
There you go. That's it. So thank you, everybody on the Discord. Take it easy. Bye. 73.
All right.
73, Josh.
73, Josh. Have a good week.
All right. Everybody on the YouTube side of the house, got to wrap things up. My partner, oh no, he's back. He's literally doing the gritty out here. All right. I'm done. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my week. I got to do some slide. I hope everybody, if you can, come out to the Visalia International DX convention. If you can, Google that. Join us out there. It would be a lot of fun. I might do a couple of videos, like a couple of shorts before that. I'm definitely going to be live streaming. Wait, I take that back. I will definitely be recording videos. I might live stream my approach to Visalia because there are 2 or 3 twofers in the path that I'm going to stop at and I'll be doing POTA from. I will definitely be recording video there, but I don't know if I'll be live streaming. Depends on how good the quality of the signal is. Anyway, I hope you join me out there for that. Until I talk to you again, 73.
Bye.
Bye. Wrong song.
I saw the person going into the bus.
Huh?
The Family Guy. I think he was.
Okay, give me that.
Was he walking? What was he called? Forgot.
You talking about Homer Simpson?
Yeah, he was walking.
You said, what's it, Family Guy?
Yeah, that's all I can remember.
And you're like, no, I don't know who Homer Simpson is. That was Family Guy.